Welcome to TCH Live Poker as we get ready for tonight's action from the Rio Grande Valley tonight. Going to be a 1-3 no limit hold'em stream. Cajun Asian in the box dealing tonight. Hand number one, have a couple of new players on the stream and a couple of familiar faces. We'll go after the lineup here in just a bit. But right now, hand number one, and it's going to be Ruben Jr. with the quick fold. Johnny Ringo, who played on the stream last week, he's a part-time dealer here. He's raising it up with the 8-6. Juan making the call with the suited cards. Donetto also with some suited cards. He'll be making the call out of the small blind. And Marty in the big blind looking down at ace-queen and looking to put in a 3-bet. Should be sizing it up to at least 65, maybe 75. And it looks like it's going to be 80. So pretty big 3-bet, but it is the first hand of the stream, so it does make it a little awkward. And it looks like this should get the job done as Donetto makes the folds and Marty will win the first hand of the stream. So the minimum buy-in for the game is 300. And it looks like a couple people buying in for 300. Seat number one, Donetto, he's in for 300. Seat number two, Marty, he's in for 635. Seat three, Ruben Jr., he's in for 340. Seat four, we have Johnny Ringo in for 500. Seat five, Kamish in for 500. Seat seven, Kid. Actually, seat six is Juan, and Juan is in for 350. Kid not at his seat right now as Kamish makes the fold, folded around to Frank, who did play on our stream on Wednesday night, has the king queen, and looks like he's sizing it up here. Looks like 30. Donetto calling with the suited ace. Heads up to a flop we go. Top pair for Donetto, second pair for Frank. Frank will continue on with the down bet. 20 into, or 25. Frank looking for a king, a queen, or a diamond. Don't know if he's going to slow down now. And looks like he goes check, check. King or queen? No, Donetto going to take it down. And Frank is going to put out a bet here. Donetto's calling that quickly. $40 bet. I think Frank putting out the blocker bet there, pretty much setting his own price. And Donetto will make the call with the ace, and he will show it. Par is par. Donetto with top pair, winning the $200 pot, exactly $200. Yeah, so seat six, we had Juan, who was in for 350. Seat seven, we got Kid, he's in for 300. Seat eight, we just saw him play a hand and lose $95. That was Frank. He was in for 500. And then in seat 9, we got All in Joe. He is the big stack coming in for 1,000. His third time playing on the stream. I don't think he's been all in any of the previous streams, but he does have everybody covered at the table, so technically you're not all in if you still have chips behind. Looks like we have a button straddle here for Marty and Kamish with the aces, taking it up to 25. Juan just flat calling with the ace queen. And Donetto, who just won the last hand, going to be playing his heater. And Marty getting a really good price. Straddle to $10. needs to call another $15 and does just that. Hits a pair. A very, very coordinated board. Kamish just might check here with the aces. There's over $100 in the pot, but he is cutting out some chips here. Doesn't have the ace of spades in his hand, so trying to get some spades to fold, and Juan does fold. Marty with the jack four has a pair, has position. He'll make the call. Let's see what Kamish does here. Looks like he's not done betting. Looks like 60 or 75. It's 75. Marty knows now that his four is not good. The only question is he going to continue? And it looks like he had exactly 75. Might have been a sign for him to call. So still looking for a jack or a four. And instead it's going to be the ace. Action is on Kamish. Just waiting for the camera to pan over there. $90 bet, and I think Marty might be done with this hand. He is getting a very good price. Spades did miss. Marty has no spades in his hand. Yeah, he's going to call for information. I don't think he has much history here with Kamish. He knows he's probably beat, but he's getting a really good price on his money and calling for information. And he's going to get some information he does not like. Sometimes that's what you do. You pay for information in poker. Or you can also pay for advertising. The way you pay by advertising is you show your bluffs. And sometimes you see that early on in the stream, around the first 10 hands or so, where the players will play a little bit tighter than they normally play or a little bit looser than they normally play. And if they're playing looser than they normally play, they're basically advertising a loose table image. Jack 4 making a return. This time it is Juan with the Jack 4. Frank with the Ace 10 takes it up to 20. And All In Joe just flattened here with the suited Ace Queen. Little surprise in here as it's going to bring in Donetto with the dog. That is the K9. Marty with the ducks. So we got the dog, got the ducks, and then Ruben Jr.'s on the button, and he is going to play his position here. And just like that, we have 7 of the 9 players seeing a hand. The 2 blinds folded, everybody else in the hand. And it is going to be the Jack 4 hidden top pair. And Juan puts out a little bet here of $40 into the $144 pot. Kid looking him up right away with the open ender. But he doesn't have many outs. He should have more outs than what's showing. Oh, his spades aren't good. So now All In Joe does go all in. Living up to its name. It's going to be hard for Juan to call, but he says YOLO and makes the call. He's actually ahead right now. Does have the best hand with the Jack, but All In Joe with a huge draw in hand. As a matter of fact, statistically he's favored, even though Juan has the Jack. Ace, Queen, King, Spade, and there's an ace. Juan is now going to have to hit a Jack or a 4, and that is not going to be the case. So All In Joe, I told him before the stream, he hasn't moved all in once yet, so he does move all in here. Gets the job done. winning the $764 pot. And let's see if Juan rebuys and how much he rebuys for. And he said the heart signal was for his little girl. So hopefully she's watching Daddy on the YouTube. We are live on the YouTube chat. We are live on the YouTube chat. And looks like Juan's going to be coming back in for 400. Daddy on the YouTube. So all in Joe up 454. Kid not at his seat. Frank, who actually started off that huge pot with the ace 10, raising with the ace 10, is now raising with the suited connectors. It looks like Marty's going to be making the call with his own suited connectors. Ringo with the ace, playing his button. Oh, and Juan just lost the last hand and raises it up to 100. Immediate fold from Frank. But this is a very nice play for Juan, as it looks like he's steaming. It looks like he's on tilt, but we can see he has an actual hand. So Marty going to be making the call, and Marty going to flop really good here. We're going to have another all-in hand, folks. Juan is going to be all-in, back-to-back hands. Just bets 100. Let's see if Marty puts them all in. Marty does put them all in. And back-to-back hands, Juan is all in and has the best hand each time. Needing a heart or a 7. And this time, he's going to double up. So Juan losing last hand and now winning this hand. Although I think he was in for 500 the first time. Rebought for 400. So he's not back to even. But the action tracker will let us know at the end of the hand here exactly how much he's up or how much he's down. Yeah, so Juan is down $9. Yeah, he was in for 450 initially. So he won that hand. He doubled up. He picked up the $20 from Frank and Ringo, who called the 23 flop. So after all that, he's down $9. Bud and Straddle coming from Kamish looks like $7. The action does start to the left of the straddle. So action will be on Juan. It is 7, and he makes the call with the suited king. Kid doing the same with the Jack 10, calling the extra $4. All in Joe with the 2 face cards coming along. Marty folding the king crab. And Kamish, very nice hand in the double down in blackjack. But we're playing poker, so he's going to check his option. And we're going 4 ways to a flop. Ace high flop, 2 clubs. Everybody misses. Oh, actually commission a 9, excuse me. Now Kid hitting a 10. That's going to give an open ender to All in Joe. The 10 has not registered yet. It is a 10 and not a 6. That is why the stats are incorrect. There it is. The stats should get corrected now as the production crew changing the 6 to a 10. And Kid's going to go runner trips here. Nobody really has anything to call him with. He's going to bet 65, and the flush missed and the straight draw missed. So Kid played on our stream on Wednesday night, and he's back, and we got a little action in the chat. I know they were going to pop up the VPIP about every 5 hands, and it's not going to be this hand. So somebody in the comments asking about the bad beat, and that is above my pay grade. And then we got chat regular, Phony Turgeson. Reminding you to hit the like button. So the players are trying to negotiate. The players are trying to negotiate the stand-up game, which is now known as the knit game. I don't know if they're going to be able to convince Donetto because he's old school. Yeah. I actually do like it when the players change it up and play these extra games. I mean, the most popular one they play here in the Rio Grande Valley is the small blind game, but they have played the stand-up game or knit game before. They've also played the 7 deuce game before. Wow. All in Joe. All in again for the second time this stream. Don't know what he has, but I guarantee you it's a good hand. And it is a good hand. He's got the ace-king. Don't think... Oh, wow. Ringo makes the call, and he's actually not in bad shape. He's actually favored right now as the cards lie, as we have had some kings and aces folded. He can still win the hand with the jack, but he is not. So all in Joe, moving all in twice and winning both times. And there's the heart for his daughter.
Still 9.
That is one of the cool things about playing on the stream is that you can have your friends and family watch. And I do know that not a lot of times, either your friends or family, especially your family, really don't know what you're doing. As a matter of fact, my 19-year-old nephew asked me the other day if I count cards. And I'm like, you watch too many movies. Counting cards has to do with blackjack, and it's just a totally different game. So a lot of times, especially family members, have really no idea what you're doing if they've never played poker before. And by watching on the stream, they can get a decent idea that it's just a social game. Sometimes you're going to make a little money. Sometimes you're going to lose a little money. But most of the time, you're going to have F-U-N, fun. So Fletcher in the chat. Everybody waiting for Fletcher to return to the stream. And then we got Playground Sports Cards watching from the border of Edinburg. I think he lives like the next town over is the city of McAllen, and he lives McAllen, Edinburg area. Donetto with the 10-4, making the call out of the big blind. Ruben Jr. limping as well. It is a $10 button straddle that Frank put on. Juan calling with the pocket pair. Suited ace for kid does the same, and we are going 5 ways to a flop. And Donetto called the straddle with the 10-4, and he hits trips. I actually like this bet from Juan here with the 4s. A lot of the times, nobody is going to have a 10, so you want to protect your hand. And you can see he actually picked up a call from Frank with the deuces. But one of those rare times somebody has a 4 and he's actually drawn dead because he cannot hit a 4 as Donetto has a 4. And Donetto being very trappy. Is he going to spring his trap? He's springing his trap. Frank's going to know the gig is up. He makes the quick fold. No need to Hollywood. So Donetto likes to say a pair is a pair. Par es par en español. No sé qué dice. I don't know what he says about trips. Don't know if he has the same for the 3 of the kind. There's the VPIP. Both Donetto and Juan, they have seen 2/3 of the hands thus far. So the 2 oldest players at the table. And then we have Marty in at over 50%. And then you have Kamish down at the bottom at 13%. I'm sure that'll go up throughout the night. Kid back at his seat. Not allowed to be on your phone in the stream room, so he did have to step out. I believe that was Goose in the background. He's playing in the tournament that we have going on. Donetto calling the raise with the suited connectors. 2 players with suited connectors, 2 players with hearts, 2 players with diamonds, and it's going to be 2 black cards on the flop. King high hit in second pair, and he's probably going to put out a bet here. Announces 45. Of course, that's Michael Jordan when he played baseball. And that's going to get the job done. It's a nice bet from Kit there, as it did check around to him in position. Everybody checked to him, and it is hard to hit a pair, par es par. So he figured nobody had the ace since everybody checked, and he was correct. And looks like Ringo going to be putting out the straddle. It's going to be a $6 straddle from Ringo under the gun. You are allowed to straddle up to half your stack under the gun. I know it sounds crazy, but it has happened before. It has happened on the stream before. You can straddle up to half your stack. The minimum is $6, and that is what Ringo does. The next person is able to re-straddle, and that straddle will also be live. And we've seen, I believe, 5 straddles one time. They got up to 90, was that $96? Because it was 6, 12, 24, 48, 96. So yeah, we had a 5 straddled hand pot one time. Frank raising it up with the ace king. Ringo defending his straddle. And Ringo going to hit 2 pair. Probably be checking it over here to Frank. He does just that. Frank has 2 overcards, has a diamond, has a gut shot. He'll put out the continuation bet. It looks like Ringo's thinking about check raising. Yeah, Ringo does check raise. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get Frank off his hand. And no, Frank makes the call. Oh, black chips in play. So Frank did have some extra chips on the side, and those are in play now. A terrible turn for Ringo, as now Frank can hit an ace or a king. But he's going to continue on here. Two flush draws on the board. Frank has the ace of diamonds and the king of clubs. And he's going all in. And as I said, that is a terrible turn for Ringo, even though he's ahead. But now, any overpair counterfeits his 2 pair. And Frank is representing that overpair. So very nice play by Frank here. As I mentioned, he does have a diamond and a club in his hand, so he doesn't think his opponent has any sort of draws. He thinks his opponent has a made hand, and now he's putting the max pressure on his opponent. Ringo, this is his second buy-in. If this was not his second buy-in, he would have snap called. But Ringo's going to be making the call here, and Frank has 7 outs. They're going to be running it twice. Frank needed an ace, a king, or a queen. There's one up that Frank hits it there, and Frank does not hit it there. So it's going to be a chop pot. 3 pair for Ringo, but obviously just the jack and the 10 play. And then kings and eights. Kings and eights for Frank. So both Johnny Ringo and Marty down about 500. And Frank is down about 200. Marty put in the $10 button straddle on. You can see this hand taking place at 7:44 Central Time, Texas time. And, of course, we're on the 15-minute delay, which actually 13-minute delay. So the Jack 10 back in action. This time it is in Ruben Jr.'s hand. Marty with the 6s. Sees everybody just calling his bet. So now he's going to be applying some pressure. And that pressure is probably going to get the job done here. So Marty with the second raise and take of the night. Normally don't see the raise and takes. Normally we'll see a flop. And it looks like Ruben Jr. putting out the $10 button straddle. Pretty much everybody in the poker community knows him as Ruben Jr. because his dad, Ruben Sr., also plays poker. As a matter of fact, they're both here tonight. His dad playing on the main area, and Ruben Jr. playing here in the straddle area. As a matter of fact, you can see his dad's feet in the background there. All in Joe with the ace-king. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Donetto. He has to raise it here. He announces 150, and I think All in Joe's just going to put them all in and run into it here. He might just call, but the ace-king is suited. He's asking for a count, and I think since Donetto has what Donetto has, I think he might put them all in. But he knows that Donetto has a pair. Wow, he just makes the call. He knows Donetto has a pair. And even though ace-king's a pretty hand, it is not a made hand. Now what does he do? You can see the pot's 350. Donetto going in, all in for less than 350. And he's asking for a count. You can see he has 2 immediate outs. In his mind, he has 4 outs. But he also has the backdoor parts. He started the hand up about 900. And I think he's just gonna make the call here. I don't blame him. It's 273, and he's checking to see how much of his profit he's going to lose, and he's still going to have a profit. As I said, he knows Donetto has a pair. Yeah, he makes the call. Looking for a 10 or a heart. Let's put a heart on the turn for some fun. The Cajun Asian dealing tonight. Let's put a heart for fun. He thinks he hit, but he did not. The case ace coming on the turn. Donetto rolling over his cards, and all that Joe thought he got lucky with that ace, but he needed the 10, not the ace. So Donetto, second time with 3 of a kind. First time he had the trips. This time he has the set, and that's going to take him up to the lead. So now he's up about 600. All and Joe still in the green, still up about 500. Kid with the suited king, limping, and Frank with the suited connectors raising. All and Joe just losing the last hand, jumping back in with his suited ace-5. Donetto also with some suited cards. And looks like he's going to be making the call. Marty does the same with hearts. And Ruben Jr. putting on a small raise here. Takes it up to 40. All in Joe put in a back raise here? No, he just makes the call. And everybody else is going to make the call. This is a real tiny raise. They went from 15 to 40. Everybody getting priced in here. So just like that, we're going 5 ways to a $207 pot. And it's going to be Jack high 2 spades. So all in Joe with spades, Frank with the top pair, and all in Joe's going to be betting about half pot. Ruben Jr. flopping middle pair, also has the queen of spades. He was your pre-flop 3 better. So he has played the queen 9 offsuit fast so far. Now he folds. Frank making the call with the best hand as we go to a turn. And now Frank picking up a straight draw to go along with his top pair. It goes check, check. And all in Joe going to hit the flush on the river. And he's telling Frank to fold. He's telling Frank to fold. Let's see if Frank believes him. Yeah, Frank with just the jack here. He does let it go. And all in Joe will show him the flush. So it looks like Hunter T doing the little pregame. About to head out to TCH Social. So TCH Social Las Colimas or TCH Social Austin? There used to be only one TCH Social, but then the Austin location upgraded and moved locations, and it is really, really nice. I'm just not saying that because I'm doing the commentating for Texas Card House, but it is a very nice place. TC8 Social in Austin. Kamish had aces earlier, now has queens. And he's taking it up to 40 here as there was a $10 straddle. And Ruben Jr. just called the $10 with the ace queen. Juan getting a count. He will let his hand go. Frank, who straddled under the gun, has an ace and is going to make the call. And Ruben Jr. is going to go all in, and he's going to get looked up here. I didn't understand why Ruben Jr. just called the $10 straddle, but now I understand. He was planning on back raising, and he's going to do that. And he's going to run into it here as his opponent has queens and Frank folded an ace. So there's two aces left in the deck, and Ruben Jr. is going to have to hit one of those two aces or have some sort of runner clubs, runner straight. Ooh, there was two aces left, and he hits one of them. So Kamish taking a bad beat here. So Ruben Jr., there was two aces left in the deck, and he hit one of them. So Kamish had aces, worked out good for him, but the ladies not treating him good as his queens get cracked. That's the bad news. The good news is he's still up $2. He's still up $2 after all that. All in Joe back in the lead after finding a flush on the river against Frank. He's up $750. Donetto holding down second place, about $200 behind. And Marty and Ringo both down 500, and Frank is down 409. Oh, Donetto knows he can't take that call, but I'm pretty sure he's going to fold and walk out of the stream room here. Yep. He knows the rules. Johnny Ringo with the nines. And he's raising it up to 25 here.
I knew Yuli was good either way. Yeah, it was a little awkward the way that little exchange.
Juan did not want to fold his button, but did not have a good hand.
I wanted to get the hand over with.
And it is folded around to All in Joe, who straddled. He's going to let it go. Somebody ordered food, and somebody just got their food. And let's see if the V-pip pops up here. So TCH Social Las Colimas, located in North Texas, city of Irvin to be exact. Do they still have the golf simulators there at the TCH Social Las Colimas? I know when you walk in, they're kind of there on your left-hand side. 4 ways to a flop, $69 in the middle. And it's going to be a flush draw for All in Joe. And everybody else missing, as everybody was sharing a king. But Kamish, who raised it pre-flop, is going to put out the C-bet here. And All in Joe going to be making the call. 5. Oh, hits the flush right away. Oh, he has a straight flush draw now, and high hands are in play. So he thought that his opponent had an ace, so he put a bet, and now he is kicking himself because of the high hand. We do have a high hand going on. So on the main floor, we have 3 tables going after the high hand. So the high hand for the month of March, it does end tomorrow. No, it ends today. So once the first pot gets up to $1,000, it spills over. And that has happened. It has happened not once, but twice. So the first pot, there's $1,000 in it. The second pot, there's $1,000 in it. And there's $600 or $700 in that third pot. So there is a lot of money that's going to be given away tonight here at Texas Card House RGV. Frank with the straddle to 10. All in Joe making the call, and Marty raising it up. Marty with the 7-6 offsuit, raising it up here. He's going to flop a gut shot. All in Joe checking to the aggressor. And Marty has a straight draw, so he's going to continue on with the aggression. All in Joe looks like he's just going to make the call. Marty looking for a 4. Oh, now he picks up open-ended. So he might continue on here, picking up the open-ender. I thought he might slow down on the turn, but now he picked up an open-ender, and he's keeping his foot on the gas. And now he is betting 115. All in Joe with top pair here. Don't see him raising, but he is seeing how much Marty has in his stack. The only reason to raise is if you put your opponent on a flush draw. Yeah, he's going to make the call. And Marty's going to have to triple barrel this if he doesn't hit his straight. It's a very good card for Marty to represent if he chooses to represent it, but it's going to be hard as he has about a pot-sized bet left. Action is on All in Joe. He does check. Marty's going to have to bet it all. Oh, he bet it all. Wow. So All in Joe put his opponent on a draw, and he was correct. But the flush draw got here. And he's trying to figure this out. This is a great play by Marty here. Is it going to work? And if it works, he better show it. Here's the only bad part about Marty's hand, at least in my opinion. Normally, if a player fires all 3 streets, as we just saw Marty do, he raised pre-flop. Oh, Marty does not like this. This All in Joe is seeing how much chips he'll have left. The last time he cut out chips, he called it Donetto here. But normally when a player fires all 3 streets like this, it's nuts or nothing. He has the nuts or he has nothing. Oh, he's cutting out the call here. The last time he did this, he made the call, and Marty's just going to be broken-hearted if it happens. So something just does not feel right here for All in Joe, and that's why he's contemplating this call. Like I said, normally if somebody fires all 3 streets like Marty has done here, it's either nuts or nothing. And we could see it as nothing. Oh, he's taking the chip off, so now he's leaning towards the fold. Wow, is Marty going to show it? Marty does not show it. Wow. So, I don't know if I should take credit for what's been happening, but I did talk to both these players before the stream. I joked with All in Joe. I'm like, hey, your name's All in Joe, and this is the 3rd time you're going to play this stream, and I haven't seen you gone all in once. And his answer was, I have everybody covered at the table. That's why I haven't been all in. But he's been all in twice tonight. And I also spoke with Marty, and I said, hey, Marty, I keep saying on the stream you're going to make a move. I haven't seen you make a move. Well, check that box office. He just made a huge move, bluffing with 7 high, getting it through. So maybe these players just needed a little pep talk. That definitely got the blood flowing for Marty. As we are now going 7 ways to a flop. And it's going to be a set of 5s for Kamish. Gut shot straight draw for Frank. Top pair for Marty. And nobody with hearts. So Kamish betting just under half pot. That's going to pick up a call from Frank with a straight draw. And Donetto Pares Pari has a pair in his hand. He's not letting it go. Marty has top pair here. Thinking about raising. And he's going to raise and get in trouble. Yeah, Kamish. I think Kamish just has to go all in here. Yeah, he does announce all in. Based upon his stack size, based upon the dynamics of the board. And Marty's going to know he has stepped in it now. Oh, wait, Marty has 2 pair. Excuse me. Wow, okay, so yeah, we're going all in here. Top two versus bottom set. I thought Marty just had a 10, but Marty with 2 pairs, so. So Marty has 3 live outs available. You can see on the upper left-hand side of your screen. So Kamish had aces one hand, had queens the other hand, and now has a set of 5s. And he's going to win almost $1,000 pot. As all of the work Marty did the previous hand. The big bluff he ran the previous hand. Got him a lot of chips, but he gives them away immediately. Really couldn't do anything about that. I mean, top 2 versus set. So Marty continues on with his roller coaster as he was down 500 and ran that big bluff and got close to even, but now he is back down again. You can see the BPIP, both Juan and Donetto over 50%. And Ruben Jr. down at 28%. I believe, based on those pants, I believe that is Jody waiting in the background. So Jody was on the list to play, but he wasn't one of the first 9 players on the list. So he's literally waiting to get a seat, scoping out his competition.
I know, but should have just went with it. Misclick. I've done it before too. Live misclick.
Yes, Marty had 2 pair. Yes, I did. I did see that afterwards. Once they went all in, I saw. So usually I'm by myself on the booth, so keeping track of everything here. Looks like Ringo getting a table side massage. Ace high flop, nobody with an ace, nobody with a pair. And it's going to go check around. Board pair and the queen high of Ringo still out in front. But Kid is going to take a stab at this pot. And this is going to work. So don't forget, this weekend we will crown a champion in the tournament. We have the March Monster Stack going on right now. This is the final weekend to qualify, as we did have somebody qualify the 1 p.m. flight, which was day 1O, and they are playing day 1P right now. So tomorrow there will be 2 flights tomorrow, and then one last turbo on Sunday, as day 2 will begin on Sunday at 5 p.m. Final table will be streamed Sunday night as well. All in Joe raising it up with the King 10. Marty making the call with the 9s. Ruben does the same with the Queen 10. And Juan calling with the natural 9. He did straddle. And he's going to hit a bottom pair. Nobody with an ace. Let's see if Marty puts out of it. No, he does not. He thinks one of his opponents has an ace here. And Ruben's going to represent the ace. Betting about a third of the pot. Juan is thinking about calling with his bottom pair, but he lets it go. Let's see if Marty looks him up. Marty's going to look him up. There's only one overcard to his 9s. So he's going to call once. I don't know if he'll call twice. Ruben Jr. can hit a queen or a 10 as well. Let's see what Marty does. It does go check, check. So to the river we go. And Marty hit it a set. So Marty going to put out a pretty big bet here, hoping his opponent has an ace. Gets a quick fold from Ruben Jr. So Marty calling on the flop with his 9s, hoping his opponent did not have an ace, and he was correct. And then on the river, once he hit a set, now he was hoping his opponent had an ace. So All in Joe still leading the way. You can see at the very bottom, the number in the green, that is the profit. So he is up $573. Donetto up $513. And then all the way to your right, the number in the negative, that's how far they're down. Frank with the pocket deuces, making it a quarter to go. Donetto with the ace will be making the call. Marty does the same with his suited cards. Marty going to hit a flush draw. Let's see if it gets checked to him. No, Frank is going to put out the continuation bet. And this is going to get rid of nobody. Marty might even raise. Donetto has an ace. And Marty just going to make the call here in position. So Frank with the best hand. Marty with the best draw. And now Donetto picks up a draw of his own, needing a king for a straight. So Frank's still out in front, but he cannot like the fact that he has deuces against 2 opponents on a paired board. Everybody checks. And And there is the straight for Donetto. Frank knows that he's not good. He's pretty much waving the white flag here. Donetto now hitting the straight. How much money is he going to put out? It is a paired board, but he's going to slide out. Looks like about over 100. Yeah, it looks like about 135. It is 135. Good eye, good eye. Hey, speaking of good eye, baseball's back. Marty making the call, thinking he got lucky on the river, but he's going to see he actually got unlucky. So once again, last chance to qualify this weekend, as day 2 is going to be Sunday at 5 p.m. The buy-in is $125. Get 20K starter chips. There's also a 5K early bird bonus available. Top 12.5% cash, top 8% make day 2. And I actually made day 2 of this tournament, so I know Wednesday I was not able to do the commentating on Wednesday, so Chubbs, who sometimes plays on the stream, did the commentating on Wednesday, and I'm hoping that I'm not able to do the commentating on Sunday as well, because of course that don't mean that I made the final table. So 2 players with ace-king. Kamish with the 4-5 suited does have the button, and he is going to make the call. And he's actually going to be in pretty good shape here, as Ruben has the best equity right now, since nobody has a 10 or a 6. Instead, it's going to be top pair for Juan. Juan's going to check it, and everybody else is going to check. Juan now picking up a flush draw. His hand just keeps getting better. And now he's going to bet 30, so about a third of the pot. Donetto not ready to let go of his ace-king, but he might be drawn dead as he cannot hit a king. And there's 1 ace left. There's 1 ace left. That's not it. So actions on Juan. And he's going to put out a wager that is not going to get called. Donetto with just ace high here finally lets it go. There's still satellites available, and these satellites are really cool because there's 4 seats guaranteed. So there will be a satellite tonight, and there'll be a satellite tomorrow at 9 p.m. It's $20. 4 seats guaranteed, and it is a turbo. So still have 2 more satellites that you can play to qualify, or you can just buy in the 125. I mean, you get in at a discount, and you just put up the 125. The prize pool guaranteed $33,333, with first place guaranteed $7,500. Donetto making the call with the San Francisco Plus boy. That's right, it is a queen with a tray. Ringo with the 6 is just making the call. I think if he wasn't getting the massage, I think he might have played that hand more aggressive. But he's very mellow right now with the massage. The massage is mellowing him out. Olin Joe with the suited ace-king. Taking a break from his dinner, putting on... Oh, no, wait. Ringo did raise. Excuse me. Ringo did raise. I did not see the green chip. Juan making the call here with the 10-4, and he's going to flop a flush draw. Ringo does not like this flop, as it's not 1, not 2, but 3 overcards to his 6s. Wow, he's leading here against 2 opponents. This is a Yeah, he gets called immediately by Juan's flush draw. Look at all the outs that Juan has. Board parent, that's actually another out for Juan. You can see he picked up even more outs now. So now he can win the hand with a king or a 9. But Ringo's not done betting here. Must be in a zen state of mind here. He does have the best hand. But Juan is not folding here, as now he has even more outs. Of course, he wants to hit his flush. He doesn't realize that a king or a 9 are good for him as well. But calling with the flush draw, king or a 9 is going to be good for his hand as well. Wow, the 6s are going to avoid everything, as this pot is now over $300. And Juan moves all in. Did Ringo call? Oh, Juan just had $100 left. No, he had more than $100 left. Wow. What was the bet on the river? I know Juan moved all in on the river. They're getting a count. What a call by Ringo. The table side massage giving him clarity because he snap called all in. He put his opponent on a flush draw. Announces to the table, we didn't come to fold today, as he takes a big celebration. Wow, it was a big bet. Yeah, it was over a $300 bet. What an all-in by Juan. But what a call by Ringo. So Ringo, who lost his first buy-in, calling an all-in with 10 high pre-flop, now calls an all-in on the river with pocket 6s with 4 overcards on the board. Sometimes you make a good play, as Juan did on the river there, but sometimes your opponents make a better play. There's the VPIP. You can see Juan is in at 60%. He has been involved in a lot of hands. And Donetto in at over 50%. Both Ruben Jr. and Kamish down at the bottom, but still a very respectable 29%. VPIP, voluntarily put money in the pot. This means that you are limping with your hand, you're raising, you're calling a raise. You're essentially not a blind. If you're a blind, you're not voluntarily put money in the pot. So if you're not a blind and you do anything else but fold, it counts towards your VPIP. All the hearts. Nobody with a heart. Marty with a pair. It's going to go check, check. Board parent on the turn. Marty going to take a shot, hoping his opponent doesn't have a heart. His opponent taking a look back, seeing that his 2 red cards are diamonds. Marty will show his opponent the 5. So Johnny Ringo is exactly even. We are 27 hands in. Johnny Ringo has been involved in at least 2 all-ins. And after all that, he is exactly even. We have 3 players down over $500. And I believe we're getting ready for a dealer change. We did start a little bit late tonight. Normally we start streaming Normally the game starts at 7 o'clock, so we start streaming at around 7:15. But the players started playing about 7:15 today, so we started streaming at 7:30. We will still do the normal 4 full hours of the stream. So the stream tonight should be wrapping up around 11:30. We still have about 3 hours left. 10 high flop, 2 clubs, all in Joe with the clubs. And he has the best equity right now. Juan with middle pair and Donetto with bottom pair, but he is betting. ¿Por qué? Par es par. That's why. Yeah, we're getting ready to have a dealer change. You can actually see the other dealer waiting in the wing. Oh, Frank with top pair. But Donetto is continuing on here, giving everybody a real good price. You can see Juan has about $20 left. But now Frank is going to raise it up here with his 10-4. That'll get a fold from the flush draw. Donetto's not going to like this raise. He does have another player to worry about. Is Juan. Juan's pretty much all in. He has $30 left, so he's not folding here. Oh, Donetto did not realize there was a raise since Frank just used the black chip. So Juan can have to hit an 8 or a 6. 8, 6, or 9. And 9 works as well. 6 outs for Juan, and it's going to be an ace. So Frank will win the hand, and I don't know if Juan's coming back, as that was his second buy-in. He's in for, I believe, $850. No, he's coming back. And I think one of the reasons why he's coming back is because the dealer's changing. Yeah, so Juan in for $650. But we will have a dealer change. Welcome to the stream, Kiwi Special. Welcome to the stream, Jeff Madden, El Hef. Yeah, Juan coming back for the minimum, which is $300. So this is the same structure as the normal 1-3 here at the Texas Card House Rio Grande Valley, with the exception of the buy-in. The blinds are the same, 1-3. Your normal table, and last time I checked, we had 4 tables on the main floor going on. 4 tables on the main floor. Let me hit refresh here on Poker Atlas, and yes, indeed, those 4 tables are still going on the main floor. So main floor, the normal game you will find here every day, Texas Card House Rio Grande Valley. Blinds 1-3, but the structure is a $100 minimum and a $1,000 max. On the stream, we increased the minimum buy-in to $300, and we increased the max to nothing. There is no maximum, so we do realize that you viewers at home like to see the chips fly, like to see the big pots. So new dealer in the box. Looks like it's going to be Enrique. And it's going to be a raise and take. So Donetto up $600. All in Joe up $500. Kamish up $400. Ruben Jr. He's up $75, and Kid up $49. Everybody else in the red. Juan in for his 3rd buy-in, but it is actually Marty down the most thus far, as we have a $6 under the gun straddle coming from Johnny Ringo here. Johnny Ringo down at 35. Suited connectors for Kamish. Very pretty hand, but it is under the gun. with a straddle does make the call. Juan doing the same with the 4 deuce. Does have the highest VPIP. All in Joe making the call with the suited king. And Donetto with the natural 9. Going to be making the call. Marty flings in the 5. Ruben Jr. raising here with 10 high out of the big blind. It's a pretty big raise. This is what's known as a squeeze play, trying to squeeze out his competitors. And Donetto is thinking about calling. Donetto has the second highest VPIP among the players, and he is going to make the call. Kind of crazy. Both these players have hearts. So Donetto does not want to see hearts. Donetto is not going to fold if he hits a pair. Par is par. As we go heads up to a flop, it's going to be, he hits a pair. Ruben Jr. also hitting a pair. And Ruben Jr. going to put out the continuation bet here. Betting exactly half the pot, $80 into 160. As I said, if Donetto hits a pair, he's not folded. He's going to make the call looking for a 4 or a 5. You can see there are 3 of them left as 2 others have been folded. 7 on the turn. Ruben Jr. has about a pot-sized bet left, just under pot-sized bet, but it's going to go check, check. Is it a deuce on the river? The action tracker tells us it's a deuce. I did not see the deuce. And it just might go check, check here. And Donetto going to show his hand. But his hand is not going to be good. As Ruben Jr. going to take down the $320 pot with the 9-10. March Madness going on, and that's what the players are watching on the TVs. There's a TV on each side of the table. Texas Tech with the crazy comeback last night. Marty putting on the $10 on the button. And this hand is not reset. There it is. The hand's reset now. Yeah, Juan's not. Juan's not going to be able to straddle. Yeah, and they're just letting him know that. So Juan was trying to either straddle or double straddle, but he was not able to. Under the gun has priority. If under the gun chooses not to, then the button is able to. Ruben, who just won the last hand, will get rid of the queen 4, as Johnny Ringo has the jack 10 suited. Won a pot earlier with that hand. Juan in the hand with the king jack. All in Joe suited connectors, and Marty would check his option with the jack 7, and we're going 4 ways to a $41 pot. Everybody sharing cards with each other, and that's a decent flop for Juan. Puts out about half pot size. Yeah, bets 20 into 41. Hoping somebody has an ace. They do not. Ringo here with a pair, flush draw, and a straight draw. He's going to be making the call. Club for fun. 9 of clubs. So Ringo hitting 2 pair. That's also a fun card. So Ringo calling with a pair and a straight draw, now has 2 pair. Any king makes a straight, and he knows that. But I think 2 pairs too strong to fold to a $35 bet, and he agrees. Plus, he has Lady Luck behind him. 4 on the river. I think Ringo's done with this hand. Juan announces all in. Oh, is Ringo thinking about making another hero call? Made a hero call the previous time. It worked out for him with the 6s, but no, he's going to let it go. He's in the Zen state of mind. Tableside massage is available here at Texas Card Card House Rio Grande Valley, $1 a minute from any of the lovely waitresses. Looks like we have Alexis in the back there. And now Juan will be able to straddle if he chooses to. It looks like he chooses to put out $10 under the gun. So it looks like Fletcher planning to make his return next week. And I'm sure you know that Fletcher has a reputation. If you know, you know. So Kid just calling the 10, first to act with the ace-king. And Marty raising with the suited connectors. Kid should be putting on a 3-bet here. No, he does not. He just makes the call. So that's interesting. Really underrepresenting his hand. And he's going to hit top pair, top kicker. Marty continuing on here. Betting just over half pot. And Kid might be raising here. Straight draws on the board, flush draws on the board. Doesn't have a club in his hand. He's calling for sure. Showing he has 300 behind. Looks like he has less, but maybe he has some greens in there. Marty picking up hearts to go now. And you can see the Kid basically has a pot-sized bet behind him, 244. He's betting 125 here. What does Marty do? He raised with nothing, bet with nothing, and now he turns a flush draw. And he is down $800, so he's trying to get out of the hole. He's going to make the call. Kid does have a heart in his hand. Oh, Marty hits a 10 on the river. Kid's probably going to be going all in. That's a 10, not a 5. Yeah, Kid is all in for 119. And Marty is not liking life right now. Looks like Marty's going to make the crying call now that he hit a pair. That's a 10 on the river. It's not a 5 of spades. It's a 10. So Marty making the crying call. And Kid with the double up. So Kid actually has a local drive-through here in the Rio Grande Valley, a drive-through convenience store. And you can tell he's a gambler because he named his convenience store Las Vegas. The drive-through convenience store, named it Las Vegas, located in the city of Mission. The city of Mission. And for you football fans, you might know Mission as the birthplace of Tom Landry. So straddle for Ringo looks like 6 on the button. It is. Action is on Kamish. Kamish joining us tonight from San Benito, another city in the valley. There's a lot of towns in the Rio Grande Valley. It's actually a big area, probably about 1.5 billion people down here in South Texas, but there's not one huge city. So a lot of towns. San Benito being one of them. Donetto raising it with his ace-10. Donetto with the best hand right now. And he still has the best hand with ace-high. Looks like Donetto going to put out a continuation bet here. Bet in 50. Juan does have some backdoor outs available, but he's going to let it go. So Fletcher said he's going to make his return 1 week from tonight on Friday, but he's going to change up his style. He's going to change up his style just because of his reputation. Under the gun straddle for Frank. Action's going to be on All In Joe. He's squeezing his cards. He likes what he sees. He's going to make the call. Donetto with the jacks just making the call. A little surprised he didn't raise it up with the jacks. Johnny Ringo with the fives makes the call. Kamish doing the same. And Frank going to check his option as we're going 5 ways to a flop. Johnny Ringo hitting a set. That's the good news. The bad news is nobody has the king. Nobody has hearts, but Donetto has a pair. Donetto's going to bet. Pretty big bet here. $70 into 54, so overbetting the pot here. He's basically trying to find out if anybody has a king. And he has found out that somebody has a king. It looks like Ringo put it on a raise here. It's a small raise. 70, it looks like 170, about $100 raise. Yeah, it's a $100 raise. So Ringo knows his customer here. Ringo knows that Donetto does not like to fold a pair, and he figures that Donetto does have a pair. And he does make the call. Donetto, both jacks are available for his immediate out. He also has runner hearts. Let's see a heart. Right on cue. So that's going to give Donetto now 4 more outs. And Ringo is going to put out another bet here of 200. Donetto making the quick call now that he picked up more outs. And this is starting to get to one of the biggest pots of the night. We have seen a $1,000 pot earlier, but this is already $800. King on the river, so full house for Ringo. But Donetto might. Oh, yeah. I was going to say Donetto might pay him off, but he actually bets the river. And Ringo just makes the call to win the $1,200 pot. And ever since Ringo started getting that massage, his mind is clear and he's in the zone. That's going to take Ringo up to second place. Donetto still in the green, but only $28. All In Joe up $524. Ringo wearing the 501 jeans. That's the butterfly. I do actually know the 32nd biggest city in Iowa. It's the city of Norwalk, if you're wondering. located directly south of the Des Moines airport. Of course, Des Moines is the capital. A lot of skywalks in Des Moines. Buildings connected by skywalks there in Des Moines. Of course, it does get really cold there, so in the wintertime, people walk between the buildings and the skywalks. Donetto just losing the last hand, but he's not deterred, jumping back in. Same players again. Check, check, it goes. Ringo ahead with the Queen Jack. And the Queen Jack's going to play. It's going to go check, check again. So Ringo getting the better of Donetto 2 straight times. Somebody asking, what do you plan to do with the tournament prize money? I don't. I mean, I guess that's referring to the tournament that's going on right now. The March Monster Stack, 7,500 guaranteed for first. Maybe he's asking because I made day 2. I did make day 2. I'm a little ashamed on the way I made day 2. But I saw an opportunity and I took the opportunity. So 5 ways we go to a flop. All hearts. Marty flopping hearts. Kid has the ace of hearts. Donetto has a pair. Pot is par. Everybody's going to check. So Marty's still with the hearts, and he should be betting now. And he is. Betting $40, about 2/3 pot. Ruben Jr. with just the 4. He's drawn dead, making the call. Kid with the ace of hearts quickly makes the call. Donetto has a pair. Oh, he lets it go. Multi-way, he let it go. If it was heads up, he's not folding. So Marty gonna wind up with the best hand, has a flush, has trips, and is hoping somebody bluffs at this, and nobody is. So Marty gonna show the flush. All right, Kiwi's back. What time is it in New Zealand right now? There's the VPIP. Kamish down at the bottom, 26%. Juan leading the way at 60%. Donetto in at over 50%. So normally on the screen, it's good to have at least the 20% VPIP. All in Joe with the suited connectors. Oh, shots. Hello. Did Chubbs buy shots for the table?
Just beer for now.
Yes, I think Chubb's buying shots for the table. I mean, he could send me a drink, a non-alcoholic drink. I'll take a big red, Chubbs, if you're listening. So Frank flopping a straight, and it goes checked all the way down. Yes, Chubbs did buy shots for the table. So he did the commentated on Wednesday night, and now he's buying shots for the table at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Nice. Yeah, so I max late reg the tournament. And did the add-on. So I came in with 50K in chips. Nothing out of the ordinary there. The blinds were 2,500, 5,000. So I came in with 10 bigs. Like I said, everything's normal here. The part that wasn't normal is there was a player that had eliminated all the other players. A player had eliminated all the other players and was just waiting for registration to close. And I walked in, and I did the math real quick. He had 120 in chips. I didn't think he was going to do the add-on. I mean, he had no reason to do the add-on. So he had 120 in chips. I had 50. I said, if I double up once, I have a chance. I doubled up the second hand, and then less than 10 minutes later, it was over. So I bagged 170 chips for day 2. And for all the other players playing in the tournament, that was the fastest flight. So the blinds coming back to day 2 are going to be 2,500, 5,000. So for the players that made day 2, you're welcome, as the blinds are going to come back to a small amount. Don't feel bad, Fletcher. He hasn't sent me a big red yet. Most of the time, I am in the same building here at the Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley. Every once in a while, I'll do a remote stream if I happen to be traveling or I happen to be working in Austin. I've done a couple of remote streams this year. Wednesday, I was working. I wasn't working in Austin, though. I was working in Brownsville, so I wasn't able to commentate on the stream. Chubbs was the one doing it, so Chubbs calling the stream. Do appreciate the help. As Juan still with the best hand. Checked her out on the flop. Doesn't think anybody has an ace, so now he's going to bet his jack. And he is correct. Nobody has the ace. But Marty has a straight draw. Can also hit a queen. That hits a 9. Check it goes. So I'm guessing, give or take, there's probably going to be about 30 to 40 people that make day 2 of the tournament. We actually had to cancel one of the flights yesterday. One of the flights got canceled yesterday due to the weather. Had some crazy weather here in South Texas. Pretty much flooded a lot of the towns and cities here. And most of them are okay now, as the waters did drain overnight. But the expressway was good, but the frontage road was not good. There was a lot of cars underwater in the frontage road. The access road, the feeder road. I don't know for all the states, but I do know the frontage roads, the access roads, are kind of unique to Texas. I mean, there are some other states that kind of incorporate it. But the frontage road, access road just runs along the expressway. I know the people on the West Coast are not a fan of the frontage roads, but I actually think it's a real good layout. And if you're in Texas and have never experienced driving like in California or somewhere, even in Vegas, like when you take the exit, you take the exit and the light is right there. So it's kind of a weird or funny that way. And you'll sometimes have the traffic back up on the expressway just because the light is red and the traffic is backed up. So Frank with the tens, hoping nobody has an ace. Oh, Ringo gonna float him here. Oh, excuse me, Ringo with the tens. Frank was your pre-flop raiser. He represented the ace. And let's see if Frank's going to continue to represent the ace. You can literally see Frank. Half of him wants to check, half of him wants to bet. And the evil side's going to win here. And he's going to put out another bet here. Ringo's thinking very clearly right now. But he's going to let it go. Giving Frank the side eye. As I said, we are live on the YouTube chat. I do realize we are streaming on multiple platforms. Streaming on the Facebook, streaming on Twitch. But the only comments that I have access to are on the YouTube. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can log on to YouTube and look up the channel. That's TCH Live. TCH Live Poker is the channel. Frank raising the last hand and all in Joe. Seeing his suited ace just makes the call. Pretty big raise here by Frank, but there was an under the gun straddle. Oh, Donetto going for it here, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh, Kamish asking for a count. Has 40% of a royal flush. He also has the King of Spades hat. The hat he's wearing has the King of Spades on it. He's checking the chips behind, seeing if any of those players look interested. If he was the last player here, he would call, but too many players behind to worry about, especially with the $40 raise. Oh, Frank making the call here? Wow. The shot Frank took really loosening him up here. He goes all in. Yeah, so Frank didn't want to call and have to worry about all in Joe. So he folds him out. Donetto looking for a queen or a 9. And Donetto is not, he's going to hit the 9, but he's not going to beat the jack of Frank. So Donetto, who was a big winner last week, don't know if he's going to rebuy. He's kind of old school. Sometimes he just comes in for one buy-in. Let's see if he rebuys. Yeah, he's rebuying. He was in for 300. Minimum rebuy is 300, but you can see he's still in his seat. 3 players up, $400. Pretty sure he's going to come back for the minimum 300. There's the VPIP. Juan still leading the way. Both Juan and Donetto up over 50%. Everybody else at least 30% with the exception of Kamish, but he's still in at 23%. Said earlier that Kamish from the city of San Benito here in the Rio Grande Valley. Oh no, Donetto's done. City of San Benito, their claim to fame or their most famous resident was Freddie Fender.
Can you rescan it?
So, Freddie Fender, if you know anything about country music, some old school country music back in the 60s and 70s. Marty raising it with the suited connectors. Ruben calling with the 3-deuce, the dirty diaper in the cutoff. Kid making the call with his suited connectors. And Juan is also in the hand. Keep in mind, Juan does have the highest VPIP. He was in the big blind, so he defends, and he's going to hit top pair. Marty going to hit the flush draw. Ruben going to hit bottom pair. Looks like Juan going to put out a tiny bet here. $30. I thought it was 2 red chips, but it's a green chip and a red chip. Marty with the flush draw making the call. Ruben with bottom pair does the same. And 3 ways to a turn we go. Let's see if Juan continues here. He only has a 6 kicker. He did pick up a straight draw, needing a 4 now for a straight. And that's going to get him to put out a second barrel here, as now he sizes it up to 75. I was going to say, I don't think Marty's done with his flush draw. He's not. Marty going to need to hit a heart. There's 5 of them left. And he's going to hit it. Juan does not like the river, checks. Marty going for it all. Oh, Juan makes the call. So Juan making the call, and he's already in for 2 buy-ins. He's going to have to buy in a 3rd time if he wants to continue here. I do know we have people waiting, so I'm pretty sure Donetto's seat is going to get filled pretty quick here. Juan's back. Mama didn't raise the quitter. So we do have 4 tables on the main floor, and we should have about 2 or 3 tournament tables. Yeah, so we have 2 tournament tables, 4 cash game tables on the main floor, plus the screen table. So 7 tables running right now here at the Texas Card House RGV. And we have 5 people on the waiting list. So I'm kind of surprised that so they just let the floor know that Donetto did not rebuy. So I was about to say, I'm kind of surprised we haven't filled the seat, but it's going to get filled. So Cajun Asian getting ready to make his return in about another 15 minutes. In the break room right now, checking in on the chat. So Juan just losing the previous hand, the all-in hand with King 6, and the flop coming King 6. Kamish with the check, and he's betting. I like this bet. Chances are nobody has a king. Chances are your 6 is the best hand right now, and he's going to bet it, and it's going to work. The power of the button. Power of the button. Ideally, you want to play a hand in position. Obviously, that's not going to happen all the time. As Juan puts on the $10 button straddle, he's down about 1,000 for the stream. Donetto not listed. He lost at least 300. And here we go. The seat is being filled. And let's see who it is. Looks like they have about $426. Oh, he's buying more chips. Yeah. So not this hand. He'll get dealt in the next hand. There's somebody sitting down with a big stack. Biggest stack at the table right now is All in Joe, as he has 1,400. No, Ringo actually has 1,400. Yeah, that's Jody. You saw him waiting earlier. Everybody called. Well, one player calling, and Juan's gonna see an ace on the button, raise it up, and let's see how much Jody's coming in for. Looks like he's bringing green chips as well. So I'm gonna say 927, 943. Yeah, so Jody in for 943, and action's going to be on him as he's under the gun. UTG. He's got an adult beverage too. So we do stream every Wednesday night on the secondary channel. That's going to be Texas Card House, 3 different words. This is the main channel for all Texas Card House locations, TCH Live. TCH Live. And I'm not going to say one stream is better than the other, but I will say on this Friday night stream that it is a lot more common to see the players literally unwind, getting massages, drinking adult beverages. On Wednesday, since it's during the week, a lot of times, not to say that the play is any better or any worse, but a lot of the times, once the stream ends, the players stop playing. Or it's the opposite here on Friday nights, that a lot of the times, these players will continue to play after the stream. They did start playing at 7:15. You add the 15-minute delay for the stream, so we started streaming at 11:30, so it's not uncommon that this game continues on afterwards. Wednesday night normally doesn't happen. I'd say it's probably about 80-20. 80% of the time this will continue after the stream. And that's true in most streams, by the way. Like, obviously, we're not the only poker room that has streams, but a lot of the times a certain amount of time will be designated for the stream, but that's not to say that the players were not playing either after or before the stream. Most of the time it's after, sometimes it's before the stream. Was talking about Texas Tech earlier with March Madness, and Jody actually going to college at Texas Tech. Ruben Jr. with the suited ace. Going to be calling, thinking about raising. And he does put out a small raise. Wow, Ringo with a quick fold, folding the 7s. All in Joe is not going to fold his suited queen. That's a decent flop. Check it goes. Jack on the turn. Let's see if All in Joe decides to represent. He does not. Yeah, I said Jody was waiting in the wings earlier. It's got the red pants. So All in Joe going to let it go. And Ruben Jr. was thinking about showing the ace. Logan Holt in the chat saying nice game tonight. So I just mentioned about other streams. Like I said, I realize we're not the only stream. I'm not saying we're the best stream or anything like that. But what bothers me on some of the other streams is at the very beginning of the stream, the commentators will say, "Oh, we got a great game for you tonight, folks." Like they're hyping up the game, but nobody knows, and that's why I don't like to say at the beginning of the stream, "Oh, this is going to be an awesome stream," because nobody knows how the card distribution is going to go. Nobody knows how the players are going to play. All you can hope is you put like certain players in the lineup, and you hope to see fireworks. But that doesn't always happen based upon the card distribution. So I never promise a great stream at the beginning. Normally it will be at least a good stream normally. So ace kings for each player. Juan looking for some hearts. He's down about $1,000. He really wants hearts. Chances are it's going to be a chop pot. Chop it up. So they will chop it up. As a matter of fact, on our Wednesday stream, I asked Chubbs, how did it go? And he said, to be honest with you, about the last hour of the stream was kind of boring. And it was just based upon the card distribution. Basically, no players were getting playable cards, or just one player was getting hit by the deck and raising, and everybody was folding. So sometimes that happens on the stream. I could honestly say, I've been calling the stream for about a year. I could honestly say it has happened one time. We're literally at the end of the stream. I basically apologized to the viewers. I'm all like, hey, I'm sorry that the game wasn't as crazy as it normally is here at the Texas Card House, but sometimes card distribution. And I'm sure if you play poker, you know that at the table. I mean, sometimes you're just not going to catch anything. And when that happens to 7 of the 9 players sitting down at the table, the stream is not going to be good. But we do have a good stream so far tonight, as Jody has the ace-queen, and he's going to be cutting out a raise, but that's a small raise. Yeah, that's not gonna get anybody to fold. That's the bad news. The good news is Jody's going to be in position here. So Jody's going to be in position on the button. So he's building a pot in position. Even if he doesn't hit any of his cards, he might be able to bluff at the pot depending on the texture. As I said, it's not going to work. He's going to pick up a ton of calls. That's the bad news. The good news is he has position. Two pair for Kid. And he's going to bet this 2 pair. I like this play as there's a lot of people in the pot. You want to clear out. You want to clear out players, and that's what he's doing here. Not only is he clearing out players, there's a lot of draws on the board as well. Flush draw on the board, straight draw on the board. Jody's just going to have to give up his hand here, and he does. So open ender for All in Joe, top and bottom pair for Kid. And we are going to a turn. All in Joe with 6 outs available. And now he is drawn dead. But he picked up a flush draw too, so Kid's going to get some more chips from All in Joe here. As All in Joe makes the call, drawn dead, and he does not want to hit a flush. He does not want to hit a straight because he's going to lose more chips. The river is... Burn is down. River is a queen. So All in Joe misses everything. And did Kid say all in? Oh, Kid checked. Oh, wow. Nice check by Kid. Kid checking. All in Joe living up to his name, going all in. Knowing he could only win the pot by bluffing, and he gets snap called. Told you it's a good game tonight. So nice check on the river by Kid. And actually not a terrible all-in by Joe. Because a lot of times players will be folding on the river, but you're not folding a full house. The only way All in Joe could win that hand was by betting. He had 3 high on the river. He missed his straight draw, he missed his flush draw. So don't fault him for the bet. He just ran into the top of his opponent's range. Straddle for Marty on the button. Action's going to be on Ruben calling with the King 10 offsuit. Jody going to be making the call. And Marty checking his option with the worst hand. Yeah, even though All in Joe just had 100 in front of him, I'm pretty sure he announced all in because he had to pay more than the 100. So he slid out 100 but announced all in because you did see that there was a countdown afterwards. And looks like Logan agreeing with what I said on Wednesday. The players were just card dead. Players were just card dead. And yes, so Kid checking the river. He saw that the flush draw missed and was hoping that his opponent was on a flush draw and would bluff it, and that's exactly what happened. So as I said, I've been calling the stream for about a year. I can honestly say one stream. Literally at the end of the stream, I was like, sorry, folks. That was just a bad stream. And then maybe last month or a couple months ago, I know one of the streams started off real good. Like the first half of the stream was good, and then the second half, I think the same thing that happened with Chubbs on Wednesday happened, where just everybody went card dead at the end of the stream. The good thing is when it's card dead and you're still tuning in, I got a lot of fun facts. So I try to still keep you guys entertained. Like earlier, talked about the 32nd largest city in Iowa. Kid with the threes. Just limping. All in Joe is going to pick up at least one caller from Kid. It looks like Ringo's going to come along out of the small blind. Juan doing the same with his AC Deucey. And Kid does the same. So just like that, this 1-3 game with $163 pot pre-flop. 6-6-4. All in Joe putting out a continuation bet here. Looks like 50. It is 50. Let's see if Kid makes a call with the 3 here. No, Kid gonna make the fold, and All in Joe will get the win. All right, so Frank was trying to get the knit game going earlier, or the stand-up game, depending on where you play. But Donetto did not want any part of it. But now Donetto is gone. And the only player that I would see needs convincing is Juan. But Juan is down 3 buy-ins, so Juan might see it as an opportunity to make some money back. So if that's the case, they will bring in the knit buttons. So it used to be called the stand-up game, but quickly they realized that it wasn't good for the camera angles. So Frank is explaining it to the players. And it looks like Juan's agreeing to it. I mean, Juan is down the most. He's all like, if I have a chance to make my money back, and there they go, folks. So Logan commented, hey, it's an action game tonight. Phony Turgeson say, hey, it's a good game tonight. Well, it's about to get better. It's about to get better because the players have agreed to the stand-up game. And just as they agreed to it, we're going to have a dealer change. Hey, don't forget about the Hijack app. Hijack Poker. If you live in Texas, you're able to play on your phone. So hijackpoker.com, play poker online on your phone and earn real money. Here's the best part. Cash out at any of the 6 Texas Card House locations. There are 6 locations across the state of Texas, 2 in North Texas, 2 in East Texas, 1 in South Texas, and 1 in Central Texas. So halfway into the stream, the players decided to play the stand-up game, also known as the knit game. You can see the players have their knit button in front of them. You have to win a hand, and you have to show the hand. So it's $25 that the player will owe. Who is the first player that's going to get rid of their knit button? I actually like a big raise here from Ringo just because of the knit game. Players are going to be calling you loose, and you can see Kamish here calling with the 7. Oh, Kamish is raising. So Kamish wanted to get rid of his knit button, does not want to owe $200 here. And that is bringing in Kid with the 6 high, and Frank loves it. Frank is slapping his hands, and he's all like, oh, and Ringo just flattened here with the aces. Ringo with a stranglehold on this pot right now. Straight draw for Kamish. He was your pre-flop raiser. Bottom pair for Kid. It does go check all the way around. Kid still with bottom pair. Might take a stab at it. He does not. Ringo going to put out, looks like $100. $125. Kamish with the double gut shot, although his 9 is no longer good, as a 9 would give Ringo a full house, but he's going to let it go. Kid does the same. Ringo has to show. Ringo does show the 9s, and Ringo will get rid of his nit button. So Ringo not going to be on the hook for $200.
You remind them to show their hand before it's a must. You owe $50 to the special.
So they did add a different rule.
You have to remind them, yeah, like you were about to mark it right now, like, hey, show your hand. Right? You're still in.
So the other rule is you do have to show, but if another player reminds a table to show their hand before they muck their hand, then that player is on the hook for a $50 splash pot.
Oh, and you can't give up your button until you actually show that. So keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, so it is a little modified in the fact that if anybody reminds a player to show, they're going to be on the hook for $50. And Kid taking a little stroll right now, probably not a good time to take a stroll during the nit game. I do realize sometimes you have to go to the restroom, or sometimes you need a smoke break, or sometimes you need to take a phone call, but normally you don't want to do that during the nit game because it might cost you $200. So Frank hit in 2 pair, and he's playing it fast, which I understand why. You want to get rid of the nit button. So it really does, it does 2 things. It opens up players' ranges, and it also gets them to play their hand a little bit faster than they normally would. So 2 players getting rid of their nit buttons. Who's going to be left with the $200 fee? You can see Juan is down over 1,000. Donetto lost, hasn't come back, so he lost at least 300. Marty down 500, and Jody, who took Donetto's seat, is down 35. Everybody else in the green. So 2 players up $500. Basically 3 players up $500. Jody put it on the straddle here. I do think you want to straddle as well.
Bro, the SEC is so well represented in the tournament. Like 10, 12 teams.
So Frank getting rid of his nit button and is now kind of making a move. Players are going to call you lighter.
Kudos to Texas. They played a great game. They hung in there.
Frank shows not having to show here. He got rid of his nit button.
Frank's just needling now.
So I think Frank was the small blind. Yeah, Frank was the small blind. So these cards have an RFID chip in them, and the button also has an RFID chip in them, and that's why you see the button right next to the sensor. Each player has a circle in front of them, a circle within a circle within a circle. Kind of looks like a bullseye, and that is the RFID reader. So that's how we're able to tell what these players are playing. I believe Frank announcing a straddle on the button. Yes, $10 to go. All in Joe's calling for sure with the deuces. Jody with the jack 5 will let it go. So we have 2 players that have gotten rid of their nit buttons, and Marty might play this ace-jack aggressive. It looks like he is. He's raising it up to 55. Kid asking for a count. Oh, Kid has queens. Wow, Kid just calls here. Thought he might play it, like I said, more aggressive. And Frank has won 2 straight hands. He has the button. He has position. And he's thinking about calling this raise with 10-8. I was about to say, it's 100% call if he had his nit button. He doesn't have his nit button, but he's trying to make it 3 in a row. Oh, and this is what the Nick game does, folks. This is what the Nick game does. Players take aggressive lines. They overplay their hand. And All in Joe overplaying his deuces here. Going to get looked up by Kid. So Kid winning a big pot earlier from All in Joe, and he's about to win another big pot against All in Joe if he doesn't hit a deuce. So only the first board counts. They're going to run it twice, but only the first board counts for the nit button. These players should already show their cards. That way they don't forget to show them. So All in Joe going to need a deuce. There's only one deuce left. There's only one deuce left. Somebody else voted a deuce. So All in Joe has one out. 5 chances to hit one out. Still needs the deuce. And he's drawn dead. So Kid already showing his queens. Won a big pot earlier from All in Joe. Going to win another big pot and also going to get rid of his nit button. So All in Joe taking an aggressive line because of the nit game. And he's going to have to pay Kid out again.
Barrels, table 9.
Yeah, All in Joe's going to have to rebuy. All in Joe is in for 1,000. He is, well, he's actually added chips. He's doing an add-on. Still has chips in front of him, but he is now down $700. So Juan down 1,100. All in Joe down 700. Marty down 600. Jody also in the red, but not by much. Ruben Jr. in the green, but not by much. Kid is up 1,500 now. And we have a straddle from Ringo, Johnny Ringo with the straddle. So they're getting a chip count, making sure that all the numbers are right. That is the pause of the action. But we do have 3 players that have gotten rid of their net button. Johnny Ringo, Kid, and Frank. So Kid getting his nickname, he basically calls everybody Kid. You know, some people say, "What's up, bro?" or "What's up, Doc?" if your name is Bugs. He calls everybody Kid. Dog. What's up, dog? So once again, just a quick pause in the action as they're making sure that all the chip stacks are correct. Having a Kid count his stack, having All in Joe count his stack. Oh yeah, that's why it hasn't read the cards properly. They moved the button twice. All in Joe is supposed to be the button. So that's why the card reader is not picking up properly. Yeah, so Frank straddled with the 10-8. All in Joe limped with the deuces out of the small blind. So they accidentally moved the button twice, and that's why it took time to clean up. So everybody trying to get rid of their nit button. It's going to be top pair for Kid. Kid's already gotten rid of his nit button. And, ooh, big hand for Ruben here. Ruben Jr. should be check raising here. Ruben Jr. should be check, especially with the nit game on. There we go. Very, very nice play by Ruben Jr. here. Flops a pair, a flush draw, and a backdoor straight draw. Just going to go all in. Now, he does have to show his cards to get rid of the nit button. All right, he shows the cards. So he will get rid of his nit button. He's very happy to get rid of that nit button. He's not going to owe $200 to the table. Then there were 5. So 5 players still with the nit button. And looks like Kamish is putting on a straddle. Or does he think he's big blind? He should be straddling. Marty's putting on the straddle. And they're going to verify, yeah. So Kamish thought he was big blind. Marty with the straddle still has his nit button. Thank you, Carl. Yeah, the duck's not working for, and there's a duck on the flop. Players are going to be fighting for pots. Juan with the gut shot. I don't think he's folding. Maybe somebody in the chat can explain the logic here, because to me, it is the opposite. I don't understand why Johnny Ringo's bluffing at this pot. Don't get me wrong. I love a good bluff. Everybody loves to bluff. And there's a lot of times that you should be bluffing. But Johnny Ringo already has his nit button gone. And the 2 players that were in the hand do not have their nit button. So they're going to call you a lot lighter trying to get rid of it. And I think he just realized that. Marty's bluffing. Marty's bluffing this river, trying to get rid of his nit button. Like I said, I don't understand the thinking behind trying to bluff 2 opponents with nit buttons, and you don't have your nit button. And like I said, I think he realized that once the turn came up, he's all like, "What am I doing?" And now he knows he can only win the pot with a bluff, so he's gonna bluff at it. Either way, a player was gonna bluff at this pot, and Ringo is now choosing the bluff, and Marty's not going to be able to call him. Ringo actually bluffing with the best hand. He knows he doesn't have to show. But I think Ringo, normally the way he plays a hand was the way we saw, and he quickly realized that, wait, the nit game is on. I shouldn't be bluffing 2 players that have. And once again, that's another dynamic that you have to take into account with the nit game here, is that players are going to call you light, so it's a lot harder to bluff. You saw Marty called him there with just 9 high, and looks like players are getting change, making change amongst each other. Jody taking it up to 35. Ruben Jr. already got rid of his nit button, but he likes the suited connectors, making the call. And Juan making the call as well. I don't know what Juan has. Yeah, Juan has King 6. Is Kamish going to check raise here? Jody put it on a continuation bet, but this isn't going to work. He does have a gut shot. As I said, this is not going to work. That camera seems a little laggy. Maybe the lens needs to be cleaned on it. Check raise here, Kamish. You got your nip button, right? There's the check raise. Yes, he's got his nip button on top of his stack. I thought he still had his nip button. It's a nice raise here by Kamish. Does Ruben Jr. get sticky? And Ruben Jr. might get sticky because he might think the Kamish is making a play here. All right, that camera looks fine now.
After talking all this shit, saying that Ringo's not gonna fold today, no way he's bluffing me again. No, yeah, I didn't know. You're going for there, bro. After that whole
So what does Ruben Jr. do? Ruben Jr. does not have to get rid of a nip button, but he knows that Kamish has to get rid of his. So he might call him here light. Now he does get to see Kamish's hand if he does fold. So a lot of voices in Ruben Jr.'s head right now. And let's see if he listens to the right voices. Looks like he's cutting out a call, or at least he's thinking about calling. I feel Ruben's pain because every day I hear a lot of voices in my head. Yeah, he does make the call, and he's pretty much committed now. He does have backdoor spades, does have backdoor straight draws available, so not drawn just to the 7. Now Kamish is just going to move all in based upon the pot size. There's the all in. I think Ruben has to call. There's too much in the pot. Does he want to save his $200 is the question. He knows he's beat. Too much in the pot. Going to need to hit a 7. 2 7s in the deck left. And that's not it. So Kamish will get rid of his nip button. And like I said, Ruben called him on the flop. He thought Kamish was making a move, but Kamish was not. So Kamish actually played in the World Series of Poker main event this past year, and he did cash. So congratulations to him. I know, I mean, it sounds like something simple, but it's something that a lot of people can't say. Well, one, that they played in the main event, they put up $10,000, and 2, they actually cashed. So, kind of funny story. He was in Vegas for the main event, playing the first time. Didn't think he was going to, make a run, and he made a run. So he actually had to keep rebooking his room. And I was actually at the World Series of Poker. I was not playing in the main event. It's $10,000. But I said, hey, I actually drove up to Vegas. I'm staying by myself. If you need a place to stay, if you need a ride back, you can have a ride back. So he cashed the main event, and we drove back from Vegas, made the 20-hour drive back. Of course, we made stops along the way. We actually drove back from San Antonio as he flew out of San Antonio. So it was less than a 20-hour drive. So Ruben Jr. taking the hit. Two players with King Queen. Jody in real bad shape here as his Queen's going to be no good. He's going to need to hit a 10. All right, now he needs to hit a jack. So Kamish went getting rid of his nip button. He immediately gets out of his seat as I think he needs to use his phone. Ringo here betting with the king. Both Ringo and Ruben Jr. do not have their nip buttons. Jody going to be making the call, needing to hit a jack. Marty with bottom pair. I think he's thinking about putting on a move here. He's not folded. He's not folded, but he is either going to call or raise. He feels Ringo's bet is really small, $40 into the, let's see, there's 80 times 230. Yeah, so the pot was about 140, and he thinks Ringo's bet is weak, and he's going to raise it up here. So Marty making a move. As I said, Ringo has no reason to get sticky here since Marty has a button. But like we saw last time with Ruben Jr., is my opponent making a move trying to get rid of their button? That's what he's thinking right now. Jody did call, so that might get Johnny Ringo to fold, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, and Marty going to show. Marty with the pump fake. He made the move to get rid of his nip button, so he knew what he was doing, and he needs to give it up. There it is. No, that's the wrong button. There you go. He threw the wrong. He threw the wrong red circle at the dealer. So 4 players left with their nip button. Juan, who's not in his seat. All in Joe and Jody.
Your range is top set and top 2? No, it's top 2.
Oh, wait, there's 3 players left. Yeah, we had 5 players, and then the last 2 hands, 2 players have gotten rid of their nip buttons. Yeah, Juan back in his seat. Like I said, I do realize most players do not remain in their seats for the entire stream. It's a 4-hour stream. So obviously you need to have the restroom break or the smoke break or use your phone, whatever the case may be. But when you're playing the nip game, normally you want to stay in your seat. So 4 ways we go, $254 in the pot. Oh, a 6 right in the window for Ruben Jr. I think he should bet here. Especially check to him here in position. Somebody might make a move thinking that he's making a move. Maybe about $100. Oh, damn, he says all in. Yeah, so everybody's going to fold. Nobody can call him. So Juan put it on the straddle. He's going to have to take it back, as All in Joe does have priority. Under the gun does have priority. So 3 players left with their nip buttons. All in Joe, Jody, and Juan. So if your name has a J in it, with the exception of Johnny Ringo, you're not safe. Jody with the queens. I actually like either a big raise or a limp from Jody. And the reason why, like I said, it's because of the dynamic of the nit game here. So 3 ways to a flop we go. 2 of the players with the nit button. I like a big bet from Jody here. He's betting about 60%. Juan thinking about looking him up because he knows he's going to be on the hook for $200. Because so one of these players is going to get rid of their nip button. It's probably going to be Jody. But then it's going to leave All In Joe and the loser of this hand left with their nip button. So Juan now picking up outs with a 6. I think it's just time for Jody to go all in, but he's really trying to get the max value out of Juan here. It looks like it's going to work. Juan needing a 6. If not, Jody's going to get rid of his nip button. Board pairs on the river. Jody 75 on the bet, 75 all the way. Juan goes all in, trying to get rid of his nip button, and Jody calls. So Juan and All In Joe left with their buttons, although I don't know if Juan is going to be left with any chips.
Barrels, table 9.
Yeah, so you really do have to change up your game. Juan coming back in for 500, but you really do have to change up some of the lines that you take, the way you play your hand when you have different factors involved, and this factor being the nip game. So either Juan is going to be on the hook or All In Joe's going to be on the hook, and ironically, both these players are the biggest losers thus far. Juan in for 1,700 and All In Joe down over 700. So both these players down the most, and both these players are going to be on the hook for another $200. Now, I have seen the players chop it up beforehand where they each pay out $100 instead of paying out the full $200. But it doesn't sound like any of these players have. Oh, what? Is that it? They gave him a walk? Oh, they're about to tell Juan that he owes $200. And he's pulling out the 200 cash. Wow, what was that? They gave him a walk. 2 players were left in the game, and they gave him a walk. Juan is going to get more chips to pay out $200, losing the nip game. Man, I feel bad for Juan. Yeah, so Juan did not want to take the chips off of his stack. Juan has the $200 cash there. They'll get it chipped up, and everybody else will get a quarter. Thank you, Noe. I don't know about best, but I will say above average. So let's see if they decide to continue on with the nip game. And I would not blame Juan if he says hell to the no. So I believe the $25, I don't know if it's been distributed out, but I think it's going to get distributed out right now if it hasn't. Yeah. Yeah, you can see the $25 chip in front of Ringo, $25 chip in front of Frank there in seat 8. So the $25 has been distributed out. Juan did pay his debt, and he is not having a good night. Sure, we've all been there before. So we still have about an hour left in tonight's stream. If you still have not hit the like button, make sure you do take care of that. That's how I get paid. Did All and Joe get another walk? This time he had the ace king. So the question I always get asked after the stream, it's basically two questions. Who won and who lost? Well, there are the answers. Kid is up 1,500. Kamish is up 1,100. And Juan is, it says he's down 1,800, but he also took out $200 in cash to pay the knit game. So Juan is down 2,000. So Frank raising blind here. Frank ran into the room. They were about to muck his hand, and Frank said, "I'm raising." So Frank 100% bluffing, and his bluff is not going to work. Let's see if Ruben Jr. checks his flush. Yeah, so Ruben Jr. checks, and it just goes check, check. Oh no, Frank put out a small $50 bet. Frank put out a small $50 bet, and Ruben Jr. called the $50. So John Ringo back in his seat. Kamish letting him know, hey, you won $25 from the knit game.
That's the thing. That's why I don't like when everyone just gets $25. It's better to just do a splash bomb. That way they get a chance to get it back. All right, everyone's in except him. I know it's an advantage for him, but yeah.
So players talking about restarting the game, the stand-up game, the knit game. And I think they're going to do it.
Bro, you're in for the game one more time? No. Yeah, we're in. All right.
So Frank just confirming with Jody if he's in for the small blind game again. It's going to be 2 pair for All in Joe. Sometimes you just run bad. I mean, obviously, nobody likes it when they're losing, with the exception of the Cowboys. But it does happen to everybody before.
Everyone put the same distance
Yeah, so it looks like Ruben Jr. choosing not to play. And I can kind of see where he's coming from. It's a 1-3 game, and if you lose it, you're paying out $200. So a lot of these players are just in for $300, and you're basically giving up $200 after you lose the small blind game. I could see if they were in for $10 a man. $10 a man seems more reasonable. But I think at this point, over 2 hours into the stream, almost 3 hours into the stream, people are either stuck at least a couple of hundred or up at least a couple of hundred. So I can kind of understand why they're doing it for 25. But like I said, 25, there's 9 players at the table. One person's going to lose. They're going to pay out $200. And with the buy-in being 300, it does seem like a lot. Like I said, I know $10 seems more reasonable, but let's be honest, $10 isn't as fun. $10 isn't as fun. $10 doesn't hurt as much. $10 person would be $90 if the player would be playing out. Still a decent amount. I'm sorry, it'd be $80 if they're paying out. So this is the first hand. And All Joe was the last player to get rid of his knit button last time. But he's going to fold. And Jody needs to show. Jody needs to show. Was it this? Yeah, it's this hand. Jody did not show. So Jody should have won, but he did not show. And Frank letting him know right away you forgot to show.
Those are the kind of people who like to play. Even when they win, they're the best.
So 8 players in the knit game, 1 player choosing to sit out. Yeah, like I said, the buy-in is $300. So some of these players just bought it for $300 at the beginning. And if they lose at a full table with the knit game, they're paying out $200. So Ruben just making the call. Johnny Ringo going to do the same. And it's going to come clubs. Ringo might play his hand fast, trying to get rid of his knit button. Don't know if Ruben Jr. will be folding to a bet. Oh, All in Joe takes the aggressive route with the 4s. Let's see if Ringo gets aggressive here. Johnny Ringo. No, just makes the call. Wow, everybody else drawn dead. Ruben Jr., the only player choosing not to play the knit game here, has his opponents drawn dead. And he checks, hoping one of his opponents takes a stab at the pot. Ringo does not want to see a club. All right, so I don't think anybody's going to go too crazy. All in Joe knows that he's beat. Let's see if Ruben puts out a bet. Ruben Jr. almost looked like a check there, but he was just grabbing his chips. Looks like 130. Yeah, and Ringo's not going to try. I don't think All in Joe's going to try either. No reason for Ruben Jr. to be bluffing. He's not playing the knit game. But Joe, All in Joe knows that if he is bluffing, he'll get rid of his knit button. And he was the last player to get rid of it the previous go-around. He's going to let it go. So I know where most of these players live, so we got a pretty good mixture of the Rio Grande Valley cities. Rio Grande Valley, located 3 hours directly south of San Antonio. Biggest city is Brownsville, has about 180,000 people. That is the next county over in Cameron County. Biggest city here in Hidalgo County is going to be McAllen. But I do know that All and Joe doesn't live in Brownsville anymore, but he is from the Brownsville area. Mentioned earlier, Kid there is from the city of Mission. Frank, I know, lives in the city of Farr. That is with a PH. Farr, Texas. PHARR, 2 R's. Farr with 2 R's and Farr with a PH. And then Jody's from the city of Harlingen. Kamish from the city of San Benito, or town of San Benito, right? So essentially, if it's more than 100,000 people, it's considered a city. Less than 100,000, considered a town. Juan moving all in here. Does Frank look him up? Frank is the only player that can look him up here. Frank's asking for a count. And Frank might look him up. And he's thinking about looking him up because of the all-in game. Excuse me, because of the knit game. If the players weren't behind him, he would be calling. But instead, he's going all in. Yeah, the other players aren't going to be able to call here. And we're going to have ourselves a race. Once or twice. I think they're going to go twice. The top board counts for the knit button. So Juan needs an ace or jack to get rid of his knit button. Juan still needs an ace or jack. There's the ace. So Juan will get rid of his knit button. Will he scoop the pot? He will not scoop the pot. So Juan showing the ace jack gets rid of the knit button. And Frank having a straight on the bottom board will chop it up. So they are making announcements on the loudspeaker here, Texas Card House Rio Grande Valley. Let me check the poker atlas. Yes, there's still 4 cash game tables on the main table. Still have 5 people waiting to get a seat for this game. I believe we still have 2 tournament tables, maybe 3. Yeah, so it looks like they're... Yeah, so we have 1, maybe 3. Let me see. No, so we still have 2 tournament tables. So 2 tournament tables, 4 cash game tables, plus the stream table. And if you don't know about the tournament, it will be streamed this Sunday on this channel. It is the March Monster Stack. After this hand, we'll break that down. But right now, the knit game's still going on. So maybe the tide is turning for Juan as he finally got rid of his knit button and he has the pocket pair here. But All and Joe's going to look him up. Trying to get rid of his button. Jody trying to get rid of his button. Ringo will fold. Kamish. Kamish is closing the action, but he does fold. 3 ways we go. And a 3 for Juan. Here he got rid of his knit button. He's hoping somebody has a king. He's hoping somebody has spades. He's going to put out a small $50 bet. All in Joe with the 5 will make the call. 5 or a 4 for fun. All in Joe does pick up a straight draw. Now he can hit a 6. Not drawn dead. Does check it. There's already $200, $274 in the pot. Juan just might go all in. No, he puts out about half of his stack here. Betting 150. All in Joe picking up the straight draw. And he's going to come along here looking for a 6. Doesn't want to see a 4 or 5. Only a 6 gets him the win. Ooh! I thought things were turning around for Juan, but All in Joe goes runner, runner straight. And he's just going to put Juan all in. And Juan's going to make the call. And he's going to see. I think that might do it for Juan. And like I said, I would totally understand. Some nights it's just not your night. Oh no, Juan's reaching for more money. Does he have enough? Needs at least 300. Yeah, he's got 300. Cajun Asian will count it out. So Juan down over $2,000. But he's not deterred. I believe this is a straddle from Jody. No, it's a raise from Jody. Might be a straddle because dealer announced a C2 call. Is there an S by his name? No. Yes, there is. So it was a straddle by Jody. You can see the purple S in his graphics. That means that he straddled. Kid with the $60 bet, betting his ace, and he's going to take it down. So Kid getting rid of his knit button. He keeps throwing things at the dealer. Trust me, the dealer has no problem with it. Oh, here comes our first double straddle of the night. So first double straddle of the night. Juan raising here with the queen-8 of clubs. Kid would have called with the deuces if he hadn't gotten rid of his knit button. Frank does make the call with the suited ace. He still has his knit button. And I believe we're going heads up. Somebody's cards did not get scanned. And so somebody hit the high hand, but there's still a backup pot that has 1,000 in it. So somebody did hit the high hand. The players announcing somebody had quad deuces. That they'll get $1,000, but the high hand will restart the next hour still for $1,000 as there was 1,000 in one of the backup pots, and I believe there was 600 in the other backup pot. Does Jody still have his knit button? So somebody's cards did not get scanned properly, and that is what we're waiting. Yeah, Jody still has his knit button, so hopefully he's back before the next hand. Yeah, so it's showing that Frank folded, and that's what the holdup was. It showed that Frank folded, but he actually called. So they were just essentially letting the production crew know. So now we got everything straight, and it's going to be a 9-high flop. So there's essentially 3 different entities involved with the stream. You see one of them, you hear the other one, and Frank is going to show his hand to get rid of his knit button. And the third one is not seen or not heard, but we do need all 3 of them. So the dealer, you see, the commentator, you hear, the production crew is see no evil, hear no evil. But if you notice, the dealer has a headset on. The dealer's not talking to me. The dealer's talking to the production crew. And the dealer has to relay everything to the production crew. So anytime a player does anything, if they call, raise, fold, limp, whatever they do, the dealer has to let the production crew know. And that's why every once in a while you'll see the game pause for no apparent reason, but that is the reason as they are relaying the information to the production crew. So both these players don't have a knit button. So this hand taking place about 15 minutes ago. So Cajun Asian just popping into the commentating booth right now as we are on the 15-minute delay. Going to see if he wants to call a hand or maybe just walk me through one of these hands. Under the gun straddle. You want to call a hand or anything or no? No, you're good?
Just in case you want to use that.
Huh?
In case you want to use that.
Oh, no, I'm good. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, just checking in on me, making sure I didn't need to use the bathroom. I do appreciate it. Just got my big red. So the reason for the delay is just to make sure that there's no shenanigans, there's no information being given to players that shouldn't be given to players. As if you have seen any streams or have kept up with any of the poker news, I'm sure you have heard about scandals or seen scandals. Somebody actually asked me about one of the scandals the other day, as we have 3 players with a pair each. It's a pretty big turn for Marty as he turns a straight flush draw, but he's going to check. All in Joe checks as well. And Marty misses. Marty already got rid of his button, so he's not trying to bluff here. All and Joe already got rid of his button, so they're playing the hand very, very slow. They're playing the hand very, very slow. All and Joe will get the win. So I was talking about the production crew earlier. They have a computer that's obviously wired or connected to the RFI reader. So they keep track of all the action, but the way that our system works, I cannot speak about other systems, but the way our system works is they actually do not see the players hold cards until after the hand. So there's an extra layer of security into the software. I know it's the one of the more popular tables. Most of the card rooms here in Texas use the same table. I believe the name of the company is Raise First. That's what the R and F are. You can see the R and F logo on the table there. So most of the card rooms here in Texas use the same software. You see the R is red, so the R and the F. But I know the software that is used, that the production crew uses, it's called the Action Tracker. And they can only tell the dealer if the player's cards were not scanned properly, but they do not know what those cards are until after the hand. So there's a lot of added extra layers of security with that. And then just in case if there's still some weird stuff happening, we have the 15-minute delay. So Frank just limping with the aces here, and he is going to be putting on the back race. Johnny Ringo making the call, and here comes the back race. Should be at least 200, maybe even 240. How many players are in the hand? Yeah, this hand, yeah. Yeah, so I like at least 200, maybe 240. Yeah, Frank likes 200. This looks like a squeeze play. And the thing is, a lot of times when people say squeeze play, they just assume that the other player doesn't have anything when they're making the squeeze play. But he's trying to squeeze players out of the pot to get heads up here. All in Joe thinks that it's a suspicious move, but he doesn't have his button to worry about. Ringo still has his knit button. Nine high flop should save Ringo. $125. Yeah, you can see Ringo's button on top of his chip stacks towards the back there. He still has his knit button. Frank is trying to get max value out of his hand here, hoping that Ringo will call him light. And Ringo just might, since he still has his knit button. Ringo would have to go perfect, jack, jack right now. That happens 1% of the time. Ringo is definitely thinking about it, and the only reason why is because of the knit game. He's going to let it go. Frank does not have to show. He's already let go of his knit button, but he might show regardless. No, he does not. So, if you are not aware, and let me know in the chat what you think, and I will give you my opinion as well. But this past week in Florida, why does all the crazy stuff always happen in Florida? Sorry if you live in Florida, but I'm sure you're used to the jokes. But this past week in Florida, they had a tournament that had a 15-way chop. You're not hearing me wrong. 15-1-5. Saw the story on Poker News. Yeah, 3 days ago on Poker News. Florida poker tournament with 340 players ends in 15-way chop. Both players hitting the jack. Jody does have his knit button still. He actually won the first hand of the knit game, but he forgot to show his hand. Marty's going to put on some pressure here. Jody calling, trying to get rid of his button. Marty is going to have to hit a 9. Did come runner, spade. And Jody call a river bet. No, it does go check. So Jody needs to show, and he will show to get rid of his button. So 3 days ago, PokerNews.com, a $300 poker tournament in Florida ended in one of the largest chops you'll probably ever see. The No Limit Hold'em event at Best Bet St. Augustine began on March 22nd. Had a $30,000 guaranteed. So as he gets the dealer change, let's talk about this 15-way chop. So it attracted 340 players, created a prize pool of $80,000. I think the part that was weird, well, 15 ways to begin with, but the part that was weird was that it was an even chop. It was not an ICM chop. So the 16th player got eliminated, took home $933. The final 15 players agreed to chop evenly, not ICM. They each got $4,400. So that's actually not as bad as it sounds. You have a 15-way chop, but each player got $4,400, $300 tournament. So when I explain it, it's not that terrible. I mean, I don't know the story behind it, like how the blind structure was, how late it was, and stuff like that. But not a terrible deal. I mean, I don't think I'm making the deal, but it's not a terrible deal. You bought it for a tournament for $300, and you're making over $3,000. I mean, you're 10x in your buy-in. $4,400 each player wound up with an even chop, non-ICM. Nobody with the 10. So one of the things that the article mentions, and it's one of the things that players usually don't take into account, it's unclear if tax reasons were a deciding factor in chopping it up so early. And the reason why is because anything over $5,000 net, then it does trigger a 24% federal tax withholding. Although I would imagine if they would have chopped it maybe at 12, it still would have been about a $5,000 net. But still, a lot of different factors to take into account there. Jody going to win the hand with the straight. People always forget about the tax man, but trust me, the tax man does not forget about you. All right, let's see what the chat thinks about the 15-way flop. Chop. I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is going to be. Oh, we got the commentator from Dallas checking in. So appreciate the love, Eric. I know you guys have correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you're streaming the final table on Monday. Yeah, I know we're streaming a tournament final table on Sunday, and then TCH Texas Card House Dallas. So Eric VL, his last name Van Lucen, I believe. So the weekly schedule here on TCH Live Poker. This is the main channel. On Tuesday nights, Dallas has their cash game stream, and normally it's a big one. Normally the blinds are like $10.25, $10, $25. Dallas streams on Thursday. Austin, TCH Social in Austin, they stream on Wednesday. Texas Card House Houston, they stream on Thursday. And then we stream on Friday nights. So 6 locations for the Texas Card House. Oh, 2 pair for Johnny Ringo, getting really lucky here on the turn. He still has his knit button as well. And he's bombing it here, betting 300. And he's going to show, and he's going to get rid of his button. But 6 Texas Card House locations total, 2 in North Texas. You got Texas Card House Dallas, which does stream. And then you have TCH Social Las Colimas, which does not stream. And then you have 2 in East Texas, 1 in the city of Houston, which streams. And then 1 north of Houston in the city of Spring. They don't stream. And then you have 1 in South Texas. That's us. We stream. And then you have TCH Social in Austin, Central Texas. Yeah, and Eric saying what I thought. We won't even stream it if it was a 15-way chop. Yeah, because they streamed the final table. There was no final table. There was a final 2 tables. Yeah, although correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys had something weird happen last week on your tournaments where you guys lost power, and there was like 30 players left or something. But the players actually came back. They left and they came back because they're like, we're not chopping. They were talking about doing some sort of ICM chop. The players left. And then they're like, you know what? Power's back on. We're not doing the chop. Two pair for Kamish. Oh, he still has his button left. He still has his button left. Open ender for Frank. Kamish hates that turn. Kamish had bottom 2 pairs, board pairs again. But he wants to get rid of his knit button. He wants to get rid of the knit button, and he's going to put out a bet here. Frank will let it go. He needs to show. There, he's going to show. And how many players do we have left in the knit game? Oh, Marty, yeah. Yeah, Marty's going to have to pay. He's passing out the chips to pay everybody. And I don't know if they're going to restart it. So Juan had to pay, and Marty had to pay. And those are the 2 players that are losing the most.
Middle pair calling you down 3 streets.
So I don't know who is streaming on this channel tomorrow, but I do know on Sunday we will be back for our final table tournament, and then on Monday, Texas Card House Dallas will be streaming their final table. I said it earlier, hopefully I am not doing the commentating on Sunday, as I did make day 2 of the tournament. So Fire Lord in the chat. Yo. They should be flashing up the V-pip pretty soon here. But we do have Kid. Kid's first time playing on the stream was this past Wednesday. And he won, so he said, well, sign me up for Friday. And he's winning tonight. 2 players up over $1,000. 1 player down over $2,000. Juan with kings. Let's see if he gets some action here. There was a straddle, All in Joe straddled. Oh, Frank's going to look him up. All in Joe's going to look him up with the ace. Jody's going to do the same with the queen 10. So Jody in pretty bad shape right now. He's also in the worst position in the small blind. Oh, very interesting flop here. We have an open ender for Jody, top set for Juan, and second pair for All in Joe. How does Juan proceed here? Juan's going to put out a $60 bet. So a small bet from Juan gets a quick call from All in Joe. Oh, just $50. So Juan betting about 25% of the pot. We are going to the turn. Should be sizing it up here as he still has 2 opponents in the hand with him. Probably about 200. How much does he have in his stack? Tony only has 89, but 150 is an ounce. 150 is an ounce. So I think All in Joe knows that his jack is not good now. It was only a $50 bet on the flop, so he did have second pair top kicker, thought it might be good, but now he knows it is no good. He also has Jody to contend with as well, who is still in the pot. So those factors should get him to fold. Yeah, so All in Joe is going to fold. I don't think Jody's folding. He has an open ender. Oh, Jody folded? Wow, Jody folded. So Mike Lang asking a question. Why does everybody, let's see, there we go. Why does everybody rub their 2 cards on the table? And that is because of the RFID chips. So the way we're able to know what cards the players have is these are special cards that have a little chip in them. And the reader for each player is right in front of them, the circle in the circle. So sometimes, I don't think all the time, but sometimes you'll see the players make sure that their cards get scanned properly. So that's what the rubbing is. So Frank taking it down with the ace-3. Marty with the straddle on the button. So Juan winning that big hand with the kings, no longer down $2,000. Action is going to be on Ruben Jr. 8-6 of clubs. Johnny Ringo watching the March Madness on the TV. All in Joe with the AC Deucey. It is suited.
Foul?
And he's going to raise it up.
Foul.
Makes it 45, 45 in Espanol. Marty with the nines. Going to at least be calling. Might be re-raising. Looks like he's going to be re-raising. Kind of a small amount, but he will have position on All in Joe. It makes it 120, so about 3x, 140. The ace is suited for All in Joe. He knows that his opponent either has a better ace or a pocket pair. But he is suited, and it's going to be less than $100 for him to call. Seeing how much Marty has in his stack. And let's see if he proceeds. He is going to proceed. Ooh. I believe this is the first 4-bet of the night, and it's also on the small size. So Marty's 3-bet on the small side is getting All in Joe to put in a 4-bet, thinking that Marty is weak, but Marty has the best hand, has the best position. He's going to make the call, and we are going heads up to a pot of over $600. Just your normal 1-3 game here in the Rio Grande Valley. A deuce for All in Joe. He might continue his aggression here. Maybe about 200 or 300. Has no backdoor draws. Oh, he's ripping it. I thought he would put out a continuation bet. I didn't think it would be all of it. And Marty has a decision here. Oh, Marty makes the call. Wow. Both these players are stuck, so both these players are taking some aggressive lines. All in Joe going to need an ace or a deuce, and Marty's going to win a $2,400 pot, biggest pot of the night. Marty did not snap call, but it didn't take him long to call with the nines. I know before this hand started, both these players were stuck. One of these players are going to be unstuck in. This is what the players wanted. Each of these players were stuck. They wanted to play a big hand. And sometimes be careful what you wish for. As Marty makes the call with the nines and the nines hold for the $2,400 pot. I hope this gets Marty out of the hole. But let's see, because I think he was down about $800 before this hand started. So I think this is going to get him unstuck. I'm pretty sure it's going to get him unstuck. Let's see the tally. Marty's unstuck, $300. It gets him in the green, the first player in the green. So now All in Joe and Juan both down over $1,600. Looks like Fletcher cheering for Marty. So I was saying earlier that a lot of these players are from the Rio Grande Valley, but Marty, kind of an interesting story, as he was born in Africa.
Wrong card.
Looks like we're going to have a misdeal. So a lot of different factors went into that hand, as if you were not watching earlier, we did start streaming at 7:30. So early on, Marty ran a 3-barrel bluff against All in Joe early on, probably within the first hour of the stream. Marty ran a 3-barrel bluff. All in Joe thought about calling the river. He actually cut out the chips. To call, but he decided to fold. Now keep in mind, we were on a 15-minute delay. that's another reason why you sometimes see players get out of their seats, because they want that information. So they go outside and they'll look at their phone, or the players that are really intense about this, they'll have a friend be watching the stream right now, and the friend is like their spotter, their coach, and about every half hour they'll get up and they'll ask the friend, hey, what happened this hand? Tell me what happened this hand. Were they bluffing? Did they have it? Did I make a good fold? Did I make a bad fold? So there were a lot of different levels with that hand. I mean, even pre-flop with the 3-bet leveling, with 4-bet leveling, I mean, these players were trying to outdo each other. All in Joe out flopping Juan here. Jody gonna have to get out of the way. I'm not gonna sing Toto, but it's a good song. I think Toto's too high pitched for me to sing. Oh, what a river! What a river! What a gross river! That's a 10 on the river. That's not a 6, folks. That's a 10 on the river. Let's see if the production crew cleans it up, because it's showing that All in Joe won. But All in Joe hit top 2 pair on the river, but it gave Juan a set. And this is why Juan rebought down $2,000. There it is. They cleaned it up. They put the 10 out there. So sometimes you're not running good. Sometimes you're losing. But you know the game is good. And you know that eventually it's going to swing in your favor. And if you're with us early on in the session, All in Joe, he was the early leader within the first 10 or 15 hands. He was the early leader, and it has swung the other way for All in Joe, and looks like it's finally starting to swing Juan's way as he wins a huge pot there. So All in Joe coming back for 1,000. And let's see the tallies now. Yeah, so Juan was down over 2,000 at one point, is now just down 1,000. And now it is All in Joe that is down 2,000. Ruben Jr. also in the negative. Everybody else in the green. 2 players in with over a $1,000 profit. Yeah, that was an ugly river. Ugly river. Pocket 10s versus Jack 10. Jack high flop, 10 on the river. 2 pair versus a set. Ringo with the ace king. Taking it up. Oh, Jody with the big 3-bet here to 150. Oh, Frank calling with the 8s. So we have half an hour to go on the stream, and if these last couple of hands are any indication, this game is only going to get crazier. What? Frank announces a quick check. He flops quads. Frank is going to hit the high hand for 1,000. Ringo with the ace. This is a 3-bet pot. Nobody should have an 8 in this situation. It's showing Ringo's drawn dead, so he would have to go runner, runner, ace, ace. But I think the aces, the other aces accounted for. So I think there's only one ace left. Frank with just the smooth call. Jody with the 10s has to think one of his opponents. Oh, wow. Jody's reaching. So this is... Wow, Jody does not want to see a 10. So an ace or a 10 for fun. Ace or a 10 for fun? Ace or a 10? Oh, no! Oh, no! Wow. Frank is about to win a $3,000 hand. Does Ringo just call? Frank can't help himself. He has to bet. Let's see if Ringo just calls here. I mean, there's no reason for Ringo to raise, to be honest with you. Jody not letting go of his 10s. He didn't think anybody had an ace on the flop, and he still feels the same way. He's thinking about calling here. He did not put any of his opponents, and there's 2 aces on the board, so it's less likely that any of his opponents. Wow, Jody makes the call. Does Ringo rip here? I thought Frank's bet might save Ringo, and Ringo's like, what is going on here? He loses to one hand, but if anybody else has an ace, it's just a chop. Oh, he says all in. Yeah, Frank's winning a huge pot here. Frank makes the call, and now Jody has to say... Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jody finally folded. And Ringo even saying that I wanted to just flat call, but once Jody came in the pot, he figured, wow. So they're getting the exact count. Yeah, it's over $3,000. So if you still haven't hit the like button, this is a 1-3 game, folks. $1, $3 blinds. This is a $3,344 pot. And Ringo is just stunned. Yeah, Ringo said he almost just called the 500 because he was chopping with another ace. But then once Jody called, he knew that one of these players didn't have an ace and wanted to get their money. Wow. Like I said, if you still haven't hit the like button, and I mentioned this earlier, you know, at the beginning of the stream, sometimes they'll say, oh, we got an action pack, we have a great treat for us. I never say that because I never know. And I never ask you to hit the like button in the first 5 minutes, you know. There's a lot of channels that like, hey, you know, welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button or whatever. It's like, no. No. We're going to give you something you like. We're going to earn that like button. Yeah, and Fletcher can just say, wow. What a crazy hand. We gotta do better than more than 18 likes, folks. All right, just got another like. Just got up to 19. We got to get to at least 25. 25 is fair on likes. It's also how I get paid. So I think they're going to color up Frank's chips here, as he has a mountain of chips. Kamish hitting the flush. And All in Joe's going to know he got caught. Really just saving face here. He cannot call. So normally we get in between 80 to 100 hands. Tonight we're getting in 92 hands. 92 hands. And like I said, if you still haven't hit that like button, make sure you do take care of it. So we have about 15 minutes to go on the stream. It is what I like to call the witch and quarter hour. So up to 21 likes. We do appreciate that. Like I said, we're trying to get to 25. I get a little bonus at 25. Kings for Kamish just winning the last pot, and Jody raising it up here. Oh, Kamish getting sneaky here with the Kings just calling. Kid making the call out of the small blind. He's up over $1,000. And even All in Joe coming along, he's down over $1,000. Flush draw for Jody. 5 for Kid. We got about 15 minutes to go on the stream tonight. And like I said, there's usually some craziness that happens towards the end of the stream as players are stuck trying to get unstuck. And sometimes just, as we saw right now with the Ace-King versus 8, sometimes players just get coolered. So Kamish has been playing his Kings really slow here, just calling a raise pre-flop. And now calling a bet on the flop. And now Jody's going to put out $100. And let's see if Kamish continues to play his hand slow. Kamish getting his nickname as a fantasy football commissioner. He plays a lot of fantasy football. And whenever there is a league, chances are he's going to be the commissioner of the league. Ooh, ace on the river for Jody.
A third base, it would have been quads over quads, and he doesn't even get paid that high again. So I would have got fucked there. Yeah, you would have got fucked, and then you would have.
Jody finally slowing down, and Kamish does not like the ace. Jody will show the ace. So So RG3 in the chat. Teddy RG3 has played on the stream before. Crazy action today, and as I said, I think it's going to get a little crazier. It normally does the last couple of hands. The saying in Spanish, there's always mamadas the last couple of hands. So we have, I believe, 5 hands to go. Yeah, hand 88, so hand 92. So 88, 89, 90, 91. Yes, 5 hands to go tonight as Jody puts on a straddle. So it looks like nobody has taken Ringo's seat. That's a little surprising. Looks like we got another like on the YouTube up to blackjack. Jody, all in Joe with the jacks. Or as he calls them, the Joes. Juan making the call with the 10-6, hits bottom pair with a backdoor flush draw. All in Joe giving him a good price to call, and he will do just that as we go heads up to a turn. Ooh. Juan hidden trips. That's the good part. All in Joe does not have a king. So if All in Joe had a king, he might get in trouble here. I don't think he's going to get in that much trouble. He might be done betting here now that he got called on the flop and on the turn. And let's see how much Juan bets on the river here with his trip sixes. Basically $400 in the pot, maybe 200 at the most. He's not calling anything more than 200, I think. Oh, he bets exactly 200. He bets exactly 200 and he gets the call. You can see the frustration in All in Joe's call as things have gone in the opposite direction from the start of the game. He was your early leader, and here comes Declan. Declan, the general manager, was popping in, letting Frank know that he wanted the high hand, and we saw this happen last Friday. The player has the option to get cash or chips. Frank winning $1,000, he had the option to get cash and put it in his pocket or get chips and put it in play. And Declan did not even walk into the room. Declan had his notepad out, and Frank said, I want chips. I like it. Most of the time, the players will just take the cash, but there are the black chips, the 10 black chips on top. Frank will sign for the high hand and put those chips in play. Well, Frank has 9s right now, and he's getting paid for his high hand. A little awkward here. If it's your first time watching the stream, I kind of tell everybody this. They see the thumbnail, they see it's 1-3, and a lot of times that doesn't interest viewers, even though the 1-2 no limit game and the 1-3 no limit game, that is the most popular game in any card room. You walk into any card room, there's always going to be a 1-2 or a 1-3 game going on. Not so much the mid stakes level, not so much the high stakes level, right? So they'll be like, oh, it's just 1-3, I'm not going to watch that. Well, chances are you play 1-2 or 1-3, but this game actually plays more like a 5-10. Yeah, this game plays more like a 5-10. If you've ever played 5-10 in Vegas, this game plays very similar to that. So the thumbnail, the blinds might say 1-3. Don't let that fool you. This game plays much, much bigger.
With the stream. So you've been on camera all day.
Yeah, but that one goes to social media.
I just find it funny how sometimes people will knock like the 1-2 or 1-3 streams. It's like, okay, so when you started playing poker, you were just playing high stakes when you started playing poker? I mean, pretty much everybody has played these stakes before, and most players play these stakes. Most players. Even players that play bigger stakes, depending on what time you walk into a card room, you're probably not going to be able to find those big stakes. Open ender for Ruben Jr., top 2 pair for Kid, and it is Juan leading out with middle pair here. Does Kid just smooth call or does he raise? Kid just smooth calls. That's going to bring along Ruben. So to the turn we go, 3 ways, over $100 in the pot already. Kid still in the lead with his top 2. Juan took a stab on the flop. And now he's going to check. It looks like they might be closing the door so nobody can leave. Juan knows his jack isn't good. He'll make the fold. Oh, and Ruben has all 8 outs available. All the aces, all the 9s are available, but none of them are going to show up as Ruben misses everything. Keep in mind that is a tray on the river. It's not a king, but it is going to get a fold. And we have 2 hands to go tonight. 2 hands to go tonight. Make sure you do hit that like button. It is how I get paid. All in Joe down over 2,500. Frank up over 2,500. Looks like we're 1 like away from the 25. Do it. Do it. So 2 hands to go. Will we see another $2,000 pot? Juan raising it with the ace-king. All in Joe desperately wanted a deuce on the flop. Even Jody calling with the jack-8. Jody does have the button. He was your straddler. About 100 for Juan? Oh, 200. Yeah, Juan is still down, and he wants to make the chips back. Does Ruben? No. Wow, Ruben makes a quick fold here with the king. I thought maybe he might get sticky, but I think maybe he's up a little bit for the stream. No, he's down, so surprised he didn't go with it. All right, last hand of the night. Like I said, if you still haven't hit that like button, last time I checked, we were 1 away from 25. Marty will put on the $10 straddle. And this will be the last hand of the night. I would once again like to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. Looks like Juan's going to take over the straddle under the gun. Our next time streaming on this channel, TCH Live Poker, will be on Sunday for our March Madness tournament. It is $33,333 tournament. That's going to be streamed on Wednesday. And then on Monday, the Texas Card House Dallas will be streaming on Monday. They have a big tournament this weekend as well. Last hand of the night, 2 players with hearts. I can't believe 2 hearts didn't come. Juan slowing down. All in Joe with the 8. Going to be putting out a bet. And I think Juan's just going to fold here. Oh, it's a small bet, 25. $25 bet. Juan coming along. Juan now has a straight draw to go along with his queen high. He's going to check again. All in Joe now putting out 50. Juan calling with queen high. Now he picks up a straight draw. And looks like he's going to try to hit that straight draw. Now Juan does let it go. And that'll be the last hand of the night. But once again, I'd like to thank everybody who joined us. Got a last minute chatter in the chat. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, have a good night and a great weekend. Great way to end the stream there from Mr. Pony Turgeson.